Hello and welcome back to Pembroke Cricket Club for the Academy Plus Leinster Senior Women's Cup Final. We have a delayed start here. We'll be starting at 6 o'clock after some rain in the afternoon, but the toss has taken place. Leinster Cricket Club, represented by Laura Delaney, have chosen to bat against YMCA, and we'll be back in 5 minutes before the play is due to start, and we'll keep you up to date. Hello and welcome to Pembroke Cricket Club, where we have the Academy Plus Leinster Women's Senior Cup Final in store. It's been reduced to a 15-over game with a 6 p.m. start time. Leinster have won the toss and have elected to bat, and we're just moments away from the start of the game. And my name's Isabel Joyce, and I'm here with Peter O'Reilly.
Hi Isabel, welcome everybody. Great news that we're going to get some cricket here. There was a serious downpour a couple of hours ago, and there were doubts as to whether this game would go ahead. The junior final was had to be truncated. Was won by Leinster in the end on run rate and wickets. A fair result, I think it's fair to say, Isabel.
Yeah, definitely.
But the same two teams are involved here. YMCA going for their 10th cup win. This Senior Cup, which is now, as we say, sponsored by Academy Plus Insurance. It's been going since 1977. YM have won 10 cup titles in that time, and Leinster have won 3. And Leinster last won the title in 2013. YM won it here in Pembroke a couple of years ago, 2017. Clontarf, the reigning champions, of course. And we do have somebody playing tonight for YM who was on the Clontarf side last year, Kerry Tomlinson. So it'll be a slightly strange experience for Kerry. Coming back to the scene of the crime, as it were. What do you expect, Isabel? You're a little bit closer to these teams now than I am. Who would you say go in as favourites? I
think YMCA edge it a little bit. Coming in, they just have some serious firepower with the bat. No doubt Kerry Tomlinson, who you just mentioned, and Gabby Lewis will be up the top of the order, and they're both very big hitters of the ball. Kerry's more the linchpin and Gabby the aggressor, but they also have Jennifer Gray, who hits a big ball, Robin Lewis, and the returning Lucy O'Reilly, someone that you know pretty well, Peter, who can score a few runs. So yeah, I think they just edge it a tiny bit, but Leinster, very competitive team. They've some super players that are very experienced, like Irish skipper Laura Delaney, and she doesn't like to leave it to anyone else, Laura, so expect a big performance from her today. She usually does turn up on these big occasions, so really, really exciting to see. And it's great to see the girls who had been playing the minor cup final all sticking around to watch their first team play, and they'll be cheering on the sidelines, so that really adds to the occasion. And what's really good is they've been watching themselves on the live stream that we had on earlier, all coming back with comments on what we've been doing and how brilliant it was to see themselves on the screen, and that's a great initiative from Cricket Leinster. Yes, to be applauded, very much so. We heard from Rob O'Connor just now that the live stream was on in the players' dressing room, and how strange they found it to hear people commentating on the game which they were playing. But this is good. It's another layer of pressure to a cup final atmosphere, which makes it all a bit more special. And the standard of quick cricket earlier on was actually very impressive, I thought, for what was the second team against the third team, YMCA against Leinster respectively. But now we've got the senior stuff. Leinster have won the toss and are going to bat, with Laura Delaney and Ellen Ridgway opening up. Do you reckon, Isabel, this is a game, do you expect bat to dominate ball? Are there any threatening bowlers on either side that you can see swinging the game, or is it going to be a bat-dominated game, would you say? I think it's going to be bat-dominated, but only because both teams have such strong bowling attacks. So it's which team has the batting lineup that can withstand that pressure from really good, talented bowling attacks. So, YMCA, they've got the really promising up-and-comer Maya Nocton bowling. Beautiful action, really tall, hits good lengths and swings it away. Very, very difficult to play. They've obviously got Lucy O'Reilly, who's probably got the best action in Ireland, as has been said a lot from by Sky Sports commentators who know a lot more about it probably than we do. And then they've got Kate McAvoy, who bowled earlier the spin of Roisin Staunton, and of course Robin Lewis, the tall left arm spinner. So and then on the other side they've got the likes of Sophie Mcmahon, who's just broken into the Irish team, Vanessa Kalida, who bowls a very heavy ball, Maria Kerrison, who brings it back in. Mary-Kate McLaughlin, who's an exciting young leg spinner, and the tall in-swing bowler Ava Canning. So it's just really about, both teams have a strong top order, but probably don't have the lower order that they would want. A lot of young players coming through haven't quite done it at the top level yet. So we're just waiting for the teams now. The umpires are calling them out onto the pitch, as you can see. We've from the St John's Road end, we've got Amit Naik, and at the Willfield Road end, Conor McElhenney doing his second game of the day as YMCA take to the field. And it'll be Laura Delaney, the skipper, and Ellen Ridgway, the wicketkeeper, coming out onto the field to open the batting for Leinster. See Lucy O'Reilly warming up there, so it looks like she might take the new ball. Skipper Gabby Lewis is taking the gloves to start. Not a usual position for her, so obviously Kerry Tomlinson's decided not to wicket-keep today. But it could be one of those games where first 5 overs tells you what you need to know.
Yeah, just in terms of the number of overs, with the reduction to 15, that's 3 overs max per bowler. And I assume that the power play, when you're allowed only 2 players outside the circle, is just for the first 5 overs as against the first 6 overs. Looks like Lucy O'Reilly is going to open from the Willfield Road end. She's in a rather unfamiliar position for her, not having played much cricket this summer at all. So having spoken to her early on, she said she didn't know what to expect. So we'll just have to wait and see how it comes out for her.
Yeah, an unusual position for Lucy. She's someone who's played the full summer for since she was probably 11 years old and looked exactly the same as she does now, pretty much. So I was talking to her before the game and she was a little bit worried, but it'll come back to her. It's muscle memory. It'll come back to her quick enough. She's going to be bowling to Ellen Ridgway first up, and Ellen is a very attacking batter, so there could be fireworks early on.
A former YMCA player as well, it should be noticed. So that's an extra little bit of edge.
So instructions coming from the field here to the youngsters on the sideline, but we'll get underway very shortly. So if you are in the area, if you're in the Sandymount area, please do come down. It's turned into a lovely evening. YMCA in the field, Lucy O'Reilly opening the bowling, and Leinster Cricket Club with Ellen Ridgway and Laura Delaney batting first. And a good ball to start there from Lucy O'Reilly. She does take a tumble straight onto her belly, but the delivery is good. Bit of a way shape, a very full length, which is not to be surprised, not a surprise really. She might be floating it down for a few deliveries while she's still a little bit worried about what's going to happen down the other end, but a really good start from her.
Yeah, and a smile as well is nice to see after that tumble you mentioned.
Really good stop there and point from, I think that's Jennifer Gray in point. It is Jennifer Gray.
Yes, that's Jennifer. Yeah, nicely timed actually by Emma Ridgway. That came out of the middle. Second ball up, so that's a good start from her point of view.
So do you get the nerves now, Peter, when your daughter's running into bowl, or are you pretty philosophical?
Not as nervous perhaps as I was when she was a bit younger. I think as a parent, being a bowling parent is easier than being a batting parent. In my experience, when you're watching somebody for whom it can all end the very next ball, that's nerve-wracking. A bowler can go for 4 or 6 and then next ball come back immediately. So I've stopped worrying on Lucy's behalf because I don't think she worries particularly herself.
It's really well bowled from Lucy O'Reilly. Bit of a way swing. She's getting her length now. Well taken behind the stumps from Gabby Lewis, and they've got to catch her in quite an awkward position there. I'm not sure. It's probably a gully, but it's quite a straight gully in Kerry Tomlinson.
It looks like what you'd call a sort of a hunch position. She's decided this is where the ball is going to go. As you say, it's neither gully nor 7th slip.
Beautiful away shape there again from Lucy O'Reilly. When it all goes right, which is more often than not, you can just see why she's been such a successful bowler. in both club and international cricket. Really diminutive player, so only about 5'1", but gets a lot of power through the crease with her physical strength. Very fit, very strong player.
She might take issue with that height as well. She reckons she's 5'2".
Oh, and there we go. That hunch position almost paid off there. I think it might have been a crowd catch, but she's done well to stop that in that fly gully position, Kerry Tomlinson. And the first over ends with no runs. So Leinster are 0 for 0 from 1.
A maiden for Lucy. I remember her coming home to me once after a game, and the happiest that she's been after a game was telling me, "Dad, I bowled a maiden today." And that's because nearly all of the cricket, or the vast majority of the cricket that she's played recently, has been T20. So whereas in my day it was about getting wickets, now bowling dots are the equivalent of wickets almost. Or certainly a maiden is valuable. So she'll have enjoyed that, to come back with a maiden. First bowl for her in probably 5 or 6 weeks.
The practice earlier on paid off then, it looks like. And from the St. John's Road end, we have Maya Nocton opening the bowling. Really beautiful action as well. So 2 players to watch here opening the bowling for YMCA. Laura Delaney facing her first ball of the innings. A full toss to start, and that's worked into the leg side from Laura Delaney, and it will race over the boundary. A nice little gentle welcome to the crease from Maya Nocton. But she won't be too disheartened by that, hopefully.
I think you noticed the difference there between, that type of ball earlier in the day in the junior final was almost a staple for some bowlers, and it was missed so often. Big difference there with Laura Delaney was she didn't try and hit too hard. She kept her head still on the line of the ball and put it in the gap. That's why she's such a class act.
A short, wide delivery this time from Maya, and a few nerves showing possibly here, but she'll hit her strap soon enough, no doubt.
Yep, it's one of these ones where you hope that she's not trying too hard almost, because as you mentioned earlier on, Maya's such a lovely natural action. You can overthink these situations.
She comes across as such a cool customer, you wouldn't think that she'd feel any nerves, but it's kind of coming out in her bowling right now. A better line, but the length isn't there, and that's a beautiful shot from Laura Delaney straight down the ground. There's no margin for error here when you're bowling to the Irish skipper, and it's another boundary for Leinster.
Another beautifully controlled shot. What you notice about all the best players, whether it's men's or women's cricket, is how still the head is at the all the way through the shot, especially at the point of impact, and lovely straight bat coming through. So Maya just needs to try and find a dot or two if she can, hit a length, put the pressure back on the batter.
Yeah, it's difficult when you're bowling different lines and lengths to set a field. So she's approached the crease very slowly there, but she's done exactly what you've asked. She's bowled just to her field. Jennifer Gray in cover coming around very well and tidies that up for her. And now Maya might feel a little bit more comfortable bowling to Ellen Ridgway, who's a very aggressive batter, but probably not as intimidating as bowling to the Irish skipper.
Agreed. It looked a bit like Maya was trying to place the ball there. It had the desired result.
That's a much better line and length from her. You can see as soon as she got into her delivery stride, that was going to be a much better delivery, and she'll gain some confidence from that. Probably not exactly where she wanted to bowl it, slightly wide, but the dot that you were saying she needed to bowl has been delivered nonetheless.
Yeah, you hear bowling coaches talking about bowling the ball, which sounds the most obvious thing that a coach can say, but she completed her action that time.
And she's picked out the fielder there, Ellen Ridgway. She's made good contact a couple of times, but picked out the fielders a number of times, so frustration for her, but it's still early days. Yeah, you do hear bowling coaches talking about that, and especially in women's cricket where, they're not as much about trying to bowl quick.
Mm-hmm.
It's about hitting the deck. And the action Maya has is really, really effective when she does hit the deck. And that ridge in Pembroke that we have down this end should work for her. And she's going to get away with that, I think. It's moved a lot after it's pitched, and possibly Ellen Ridgway thought she was going to get a wide. But that brings about the end of the second over. A good finish from Naughton. And Leinster find themselves 10 for none from 2.
One thing that Maya didn't do, which you often see young bowlers doing when they bowl a ball that's on the edge of legality, is to look around at the umpire to see if they'll get away with the wide, which only prompts the umpire to actually give the wide. So she didn't do that. She got out of that over in the end. 10 runs, given that with two boundaries. Actually, the damage was reasonably limited.
Yeah, you're right. It could have been a lot worse, and I think that's just showing nerves on the batting side as well, that they didn't manage to take a few more runs off for that over. So Lucy O'Reilly returns for her second over from the Willfield Road end. That's really well played, and Jennifer Gregor has it one hand at point but misses it. Great fielding on the boundary from Roisin Staunton, who releases the ball very quickly after picking it up. She was under pressure because Laura Delaney wanted the second, but Staunton was up to the task.
That's what I've noticed a lot about women's cricket since I've been watching it, is that the standard of fielding and team fielding has gone up so much. People's awareness of what their roles are and how they can actually do something more effectively.
Again, she picks out the fielder, an extra cover there. That's Sarah Forbes, an extra cover. Yeah, I think a lot of that comes from that better fielding comes from better batting. So when I was coming up, if you could keep a team to 80 or 90, you still might not win because people didn't hit the ball very hard unless it was a bad ball. Now you get a good ball like that one from Lucy, and players are coming at it and trying to hit it for 4. Strays in line a little bit. It comes off the pad, but Gabby Lewis is very quick around to tidy up there for Lucy.
I have to say, it's early days in this innings, but Gabby Lewis looks pretty natural as a keeper for somebody who's probably about 5'10", 5'11". She looks very natural, very easy as a keeper, knows what she's up to.
Well, she's a very good fielder, so usually if you're a good fielder, you'll do all right behind the stumps. Bit of a way shape there again, and you'd have to say that wasn't the greatest shot from Ellen Ridgway. If she had made contact, it was most likely going to be an edge. Yeah,
she opened the face a little bit too early, especially early in your innings. You've got to be showing the full face of the bat as much as possible. She's angling it a little bit too early, and Lucy gets away with it perhaps.
Bowls that one into the pitch and gets a bit of bounce. Ridgway deciding to still come forward, so catching that one on the glove. And that's Lucy kind of getting into her spell. I feel that ball, she's bowled that one quicker. I don't think she would want to pitch it that short, but she's hitting the deck now.
Yeah, I think she spotted also that Ellen is looking to cut to give herself a little bit of space, so she sort of followed her by digging it in, bowling at the ribs, and got the dot that she was looking for.
Again, strays onto the leg side. And that's a good effort from Kerry Tomlinson. So, just one from the third over. Lucy already going good guns here in her opening spell. And after 3 overs, Leinster are 11 for 0.
Yep. Nice to see Lucy out on the pitch again there. That distinctive walkout towards the outfield.
Now, I have a bone to pick with you here about her height, right? Because she says she's 5'2", and I say she's 5'1". The ball has gone over her head when it's been thrown around the field no less than 4 times so far, and it's only been 3 overs in. So I think that maybe she's telling everyone that she's 5'2". They're throwing to someone who's 5'2", and it's going over her head.
Well, there's an important...
Another full toss from Maya Naughton, but really well fielded in mid-wicket from Sarah Forbes.
I suppose the question that has to be asked, Isabel, is about your own height, because I think there's an element of competitiveness coming in here.
Well, I'm only 5'3", and I think I've got 2 inches on Lucy.
Okay, I'll have to run this past her later on.
We can measure later on, yeah.
Always competitive, the Joyce girls.
Shorter delivery. It's flashed away. Lucy O'Reilly dives in point but can't get there.
Too short
it's
again.
Dribbling to the boundary, and it just about wins the race, going for Laura Delaney's 3rd boundary of the innings so far. So a little bit better from Maya Nocton, but too short and a bit too wide. So getting closer to where she wants to bowl, but not quite there yet.
So much of bowling is about rhythm, and the Maya that I'm seeing here compared to the Maya I saw in a boys' game actually the other week is different in that she looks like she's tense. Probably just the shoulders need to relax a bit. Just needs to let it flow a bit more. That's much better.
That's much better, and that's a big scoring area for Laura Delaney, but that's why they have that cover out. So if she can keep it that bit straighter, that length was better, it's a little bit straighter, it's only going to be a single, so you wonder how long it would be before Laura Delaney would kind of take a few risks and possibly, get herself out if Maya can continue to bowl that better line and length. So, as you said, she looked a bit tense. She's kind of loosening up a little bit now. That's a beautiful delivery from Maya Nocton. It's exactly what she's kind of known for at her tender age of, I think, 16 or 17. But really tall action, hit the wicket, and away movement quite late on. So that's probably the best ball she's bowled all day so far.
Yep, and you can see it went through a couple of clicks quicker as well.
That's the dab we were talking about earlier, but she makes contact this time, Ellen Ridgway. Lucy O'Reilly gives chase. She's got a fantastic arm, and Leinster get 2 runs from it, but that's a delicate shot from Ellen Ridgway, not what she's usually known for. She usually goes after the ball a lot. She's a big hard hitter of the ball.
Well, she used the pace on the ball very nicely there and threaded it through a fairly narrow gap between point and backward point. A
straighter ball, and she's not hit that very well at all. I think it came onto her a little bit quicker than she expected, and that brings about the end of the 4th over. A much more successful one from Maya Nocton. A little unlucky possibly to go for 7 in that one. Went for that 1 boundary, and the score is 18 for 0.
Apart from the fact that, yes, she did go for 7 runs there, but just know as a former bowler, she just looked more natural, more rhythmic in that over, and she'll feel better because of that. Whether or not she gets to continue this spell or not, we'll have to wait to see. There's a change at the Willfield Road end. Vanchika Shukla is replacing Lucy O'Reilly.
That's a big surprise this for me. Vanchika coming on in the power play. Only allowed 2 out. She's one of the hardest trainers around women's cricket in Leinster. I think Vanchika, I'm a big fan of her, but she bowls quite slowly, so she won't have much protection. She doesn't have much margin for error with this field. So 1 out on the leg side and deep square leg, and cover quite straight on the boundary. She'll have to be right on the money from the start here.
Yeah, my suspicion is that is that Laura will be looking at cow corner as a potential area to be mined. Not if the ball's out there.
Again, a few nerves from the youngster. I think she might look to come down the wicket, and she likes to hit slower bowlers straight, Laura.
Okay.
So she tends to. She's someone I would never back up for. When I used to play with her, I used to leave my bat in the crease because you'd nearly get run out every ball. And she does. She hits it very strongly down the ground. And Roisin Staunton, unfortunately, has come in off the rope rather than running around the boundary, and that's raced away for another boundary for Laura Delaney. She's just dealing in boundaries here. Peter?
Yeah, well, he's timing the ball very well, as you mentioned. Roisin Staunton didn't quite get her angles right there, but the ball was so well timed it probably would have beaten her anyhow.
And this is the difference between this senior cricket and the minor cup. That ball was, it was a bit too short, but the power and placement of Laura Delaney meant that it raced to the boundary rather than just getting a hit to a fielder. A better delivery that time from Van Schika, a bit fuller, moving away from Laura Delaney, and she's only able to tap it into the offside where Jenny Gray was waiting.
Van Schika's really got to be thinking about bringing the batsman forward at her pace especially. Probably having her mid-on and mid-off a little deeper perhaps. But asking the batsman to hit her down the ground.
And it's short again. But Delaney, unusually for her in this innings so far, picks out Robin Lewis in mid-off. So Van Schika getting away with that a little bit.
In a cup final this early in the innings, it's still a big risk for Laura to say, well, will I hit the bowler back over her head? So I think putting that doubt in her mind would be Van Schika's best option.
And a big chance here, bowler's end, but Laura Delaney had decided from the word go that she was running there, so not really troubled at all. There really shouldn't be a single there, but Ellen Ridgway backing up very well.
So Laura has moved into the 20s very quickly. And YM will be wondering about how long they want her to bat, which is not very much longer at all. She's into her stride already, and is the YM skipper going to be thinking about a wicket-taking bowler coming into it rather than a run saver?
Really nice away swing there from Van Schika. She's got that to move it a long way from Ellen Ridgway, who chased it the whole time but couldn't quite get there. And Ellen Ridgway, while Laura Delaney is scoring freely, Ridgway is, unusually for her, struggling to score, so she'll be one they might want to keep in a little bit longer. She's made contact with that. Probably Van Schika would be happy enough because it was going to be a wide, so she gets away with that one for just a single. That brings about the close of the fifth over, and Leinster are 26 for none. And a change in the commentary. We have Janice and Miriam.
Thanks, Izzy. Thanks, Peter. Interesting start here. Laura Delaney at the moment is 20 off 5 overs, and Ellen Ridgway is 3. So we can see who's taking the initiative here against the YM bowling. Lucy O'Reilly had a super start. She bowled 2 maidens. Her first 2 overs back bowling for a long time as she's taking a rest from her duties with Ireland. She hasn't lost the ability, obviously. Now I'm delighted to be joined here by cricketing legend and MCC Life member Miriam Greeley. How are you, Miriam?
How are you, Jan? Thanks very much. As you say, I think it's a nice start for Leinster as well, mainly by Laura, to a degree, putting away the bad ball. 26 off 5. Pushed nicely into covers there for 1 run. Ellen's just trying to find her feet here a bit. I think, as Isabel referred to before, she's quite a big hitter, but at the moment she's probably just trying to get the pace of the wicket.
There's a change of bowling at the St John's Road end, and it is Roisin Staunton.
Scamper through for another single. I think it's very important that Leinster keep up getting a run of ball and then putting the bad ball away for 4 runs is what they seem to be doing at the moment. 28 off the 5.
Oh, a big appeal.
Good shout, I would have thought, Jan.
Umpire Naik at the far end asked there to judge LBW. I think looked as though it was going down leg. It could have even pitched outside leg. But Roisin asking questions from the very beginning. Good for her. Again, a ball going down leg. Hit straight up in the air by Ellen. And they've taken 1 run.
Looks like from here she's bowling a bit of leg spin, Janice, am I right?
Yeah, I think she is. She's bowling leg spin, and certainly she seemed to do something with the ball there because Ellen seemed to be a top edge straight up into the air.
She's got nice flight on it as well.
There's a beautiful shot. Out through the covers. Just one run. Potentially, Miriam, do you think they're refusing runs there? Do you think if they ran the first one faster, they'd potentially get 2?
I think Ellen backed up there, in fairness, very well, and she, I think, has a few times now been willing to come back for the 2. I think Laura sees that it's in Jenny Gray's hand, or perhaps that's stopping her coming back for the second.
Oh, again, well bowled by Roisin Staunton. The bats are having trouble getting her away. That was a definite opportunity there. A drop at mid-on.
I think Ellen went down the track there. She's showing a bit of intent now, maybe under instruction for her captain.
Yeah.
She just didn't quite connect with it. She moved her feet nicely, but a lovely flight delivery again.
At the end of the over, Leinster are 31 for the loss of no wicket off 6 overs. Miriam, you can put on your Irish selector hat here. Without, obviously, you're not going to tell us too much, I know. But the Irish team have just come back from a little quadrangular tournament in Holland. They did well. It seemed to be a learning curve, really. It was a learning exercise. Would that be fair?
It was. I think with Ed Joyce taking over the squad now over the last couple of months, he did a little bit of tinkering around at batting orders and bowling orders, just finding his way with the squad as well. They finished superbly. Well, so they found their feet. They started well, a little bit of hiccups. Thailand were very good.
Lovely shot through the covers by Ellen Ridgway. They have a sweeper out. It's Lucy O'Reilly, and she can launch it in about 70 yards from the boundary there for a small in stature. She's got a great big arm. Super cricket.
So Thailand, Janice, were a lot better than we had expected, and they are in our group.
Yes, I saw that there's 2 groups then for the World Cup qualifiers in Scotland at the end of the month.
Yeah, and Thailand in our group.
There's a beautiful shot. The ball was well pitched up outside the off. Ellen Ridgway just stepped down the wicket, and a beautiful shot through wide of mid-off for 4 runs.
I think just finishing on that, Janice, Namibia we wouldn't know much about. In Holland, I think we know that we can do well again. So Thailand are the one that we have to win to top our group. And Bangladesh and Scotland, possibly the 2 in the other group that would reach the semi-finals.
Yeah, just to be clear, 2 go through. So if we reach the final, we're through. And obviously the final, both teams who get to the final are through.
Correct.
Again, the ball bowled up outside the off. A big flash of the blade. They're not going to take Lucy O'Reilly on for 2 runs.
Great diving effort there at backward point. Is that Jenny Gray? It is too, yeah. Great diving effort to the right.
The thing that impressed me about last week was the new caps did particularly well. I thought the young players, I know he was tinkering with his batting and bowling order, but they did well. They seemed to cope at that level.
They did. I mean, as you know, Janice, even here now, domestic level, it's very different when you pull on a green jersey. The bowling, for example, would be in some cases quite similar to when you're facing the best Irish bowlers, but yet it's a different mentality going out with an Irish jersey on, and they'll have learned a huge amount from that last week. As I say, they got better and better as the tournament went on, and it was the batting really that just needs to be worked on. The bowling was excellent. Laura Ritz, particularly in the last game, on a hat-trick.
Big full toss, lovely. That's meat and drink to these players in Leinster. Ellen Ridgway just whacked that to what we would call cow corner for 4 runs.
Ellen now finding her feet a little bit more. Jan played herself in nicely, and now she's putting away the bad ball to the boundary.
Yeah, certainly she's enjoying facing Vanchika. They've just had a little chat, the 2 bats in the middle. I wonder what the plan is. I presume they want to increase the run rate here again. A par score here, maybe 130?
I would have said about maybe between 110 and 130, Jan. I'll just...
That's you hedging your bets there,
hedging my
Miriam.
bets,
Hedge them. That's the end of the over, and Leinster move on to 44 for the loss of no wicket of 6 overs. Laura Delaney's on 23 and Ellen Ridgway is on 18.
See, Ellen's caught up quite quickly there as well, yeah. But I suppose a bigger hitter, that's always going to happen.
Almost halfway through this 15-over side match and the innings for Leinster. They are 44 for 0 off 7 overs.
I think YM are going to have to tinker with their bowling a little bit here, Miriam, to try and break this partnership. But this partnership is going along quite nicely.
Well,
nice shot.
That's true, a nice shot.
It was a very big full toss, but potentially would it have been a no ball? I don't know. She came down the wicket, Ellen Ridgway, and she gave it a good old whack.
I think it was about below waist by the time it got to her. She had gone down the track to her. But YM have to tighten up this bowling now a little bit. They're fielding quite well, but they've just got to tighten up the bowling a wee bit.
Yeah, the two batters are showing great intent now to keep to move the score along quickly. You can see that they've obviously had a chat and said, "Let's move this. We've got players sitting in the hutch, so let's move it along."
It's a nice little tickle down to fine leg, Jan. 1 run, well fielded. I think at this stage in the innings, I think, Jan, on the wickets, the slow wickets like this, the bowlers have to just try to bowl a nice line, a nice length, and if they give away 6 runs, that'll be a good result. Just try to stop the boundaries. The power play is over, the fielders are out. Good result for YM, which is 6 runs and over.
Yeah, they don't even try and take a run to Kerry Tomlinson, the YMCA coach. She's a fine player, New Zealander. Played for Clontarf last year, scored over 1,000 runs, and went to YM as their player coach.
Very good bowler too, Jan. An off-spin bowler. I'm sure we'll see her pretty soon. The footwork for Laura there is turning those balls into full tosses, really, which is very good.
Yes, my own instinct as a batter of old would be to whack it over the wall, Miriam, not to play it through the V, but each to their own.
But Jan, that's because you didn't like running, let's be honest.
Steady. Yeah, she moves her feet very well, Laura Delaney. She's taking any sort of questioning out of the bowling. She's coming down the wicket 1 step to negate the bounce, and is just playing it at will through the V wherever she likes.
That's really what Laura is about, really. She's not a real boundary player. She does try to keep the score ticking over all the time. Moves her feet very well.
Ooh.
Stumping there, Jan.
Yeah, a cheeky little one. Outside the off stump. At the end of the over, Leinster move on to 52 for none off 8.
I think they'd be happy enough with that. But as you say, they've got people now in waiting to come in, some big hitters. So I'd say Laura will be saying, let's get on with it. Try and get maybe 8, 9 and over, possibly 10.
Yeah.
A couple of boundaries and a run a ball, and that's easily done.
Yeah, I would think now, even looking at that, you're looking at 130 minimum of that.
You know, it's 15 overs.
Thanks for reminding me. It's 15 overs, so maybe 110.
Should have put a bet on that score.
YMCA in this, the Academy Plus Women's Senior Cup Final. Leinster 52 without loss. Now change of bowling at the Willfield Road end. To bowl the 9th over, Robin Lewis.
Change of bowling now at the Willfield Road end. We have Robin Lewis coming on to bowl. On Irish squad player. Tricky little spinnies. She'll be difficult to get away. She knows what she's doing. She's got good height.
Robin's had a few injuries over the years, so she's just coming back into training full time and playing. So it'd be good to get Robin back.
Isn't that good to see? It's great to see her back playing.
It's left arm orthodox, Jan. Good cricket. Left arm orthodox spinner. It's nice to have the option though of having her. Yeah, she's got lovely height, comes in from a big height, so she just really has to put it thereabouts. She doesn't have to do too much. Just let the batsman do the work.
Oh, again down the wicket. Ellen Ridgway this time down the wicket, and a little bit of a fumble in the field, and they sneak a single there. Every single is going to count here. YMCA have got a good batting lineup, so they need to protect all the runs.
I think Abby has to be very aware now of the stumps here. If they're going to go down the track each time, there could be a stumping on. It's coming our way, Jan.
There's a shot. Over the infield, well fielded. We've chased, she's picked it up, and they're only going to get 2.
It's a nice shot from Laura Delaney. Straight over mid-off's head. Bit slow of the outfield here. Probably would have run for 4 on a
Yes, particularly with the rain we had earlier on
Yeah.
this afternoon. We had an absolute deluge here this afternoon during the Academy Plus Minor Cup final.
See, now they've moved mid-off back to negate that shot. Probably 2 runs on there if Laura decides to do a similar shot.
Yeah, for Laura, we have a mid-off out, we have a mid-on out, we have a cow corner, we have a sweeper then on the offside.
So I think Robin's going to bowl full. Cut cover on point very well there for just the one to deep extra cover, Lucy O'Reilly.
Again, Gabby is moving her field depending on who's batting. Deep backward square has gone out now for Ellen Ridgway, and the deep mid-off has come in.
You can see why Janice, obviously, Ellen's much more of a leg-sided player.
Yeah, that's gone. Bisected the fielders there for 4 runs. Was a lovely shot. She came down the wicket and timed it beautifully.
She's really finding her way now, Ellen. And this is why they were opening with her. Obviously, the loss of Rebecca Stockel playing today, who would be in this position of opening Ellen, had big shoes to fill, but she's doing very well.
That's a little bit leg side and just tickled round the corner to short fine leg for 1, where they took the single there. Good running by Laura Delaney going to the danger end. At the end of the 9th over, Leinster are 62 for the loss of no wicket off 9. You're watching the Academy Plus Senior Women's Cup Final, Leinster Senior Women's Cup Final, sponsored by Academy Plus. It's in Pembroke Cricket Club in Sandymount. The sun has come out, so there's quite a crowd now down the wall. The bar's open. It's Friday night. It's women's cricket. Come on down if you're in the area.
Barbecue, Jan? Any
Oh,
chance?
I'd say so, Miriam. We have a
Lovely.
barbecue here now at the Drop Fat.
Yeah, it's a good crowd, all right.
Yeah,
Sitting
it
on
is
the
a
wall
very
in the
good-
sun
it's a
while
very
we're in
good
the
crowd.
shade.
Yeah, it's a very good crowd. Again, if you're in the area, come on down. This is going to be a good game. They're 2 top-class sides with all their international players back and playing, which is super to see.
And Roisin to continue from the St. John's end. Good delivery. That's a powerful shot. Big full toss, powerful shot. Gone to deep mid-wicket. It's going to go for 4. Split the field again. Excellent shot, Ellen.
Yeah, she hit the ball hard. It's a very long boundary over there. Could the fielders have got it, maybe? Possibly.
Could be a bit slippy out there, Jan, too. I think now the bowlers, the 2 spinners, I think there's a little bit too much flight here. They have a deep square. So, like Lucy O'Reilly's out there in deep square, they could maybe put it a little bit short. There's a little bit too much flight, and the girls are coming down taking it a full toss. They have to vary their bowling now.
And if you were Gabby Lewis, would you continue to rotate your bowlers? These 2 are well set. She needs to break this partnership.
I actually would probably bring Lucy back. That's a better ball. And
Just turned round the corner. And good
It's a
effort by the
terrific
fielder,
effort.
by Lucy O'Reilly, but unfortunately that goes over the boundary for 4. And in fairness, just the merest of touches. She just tipped it round the corner, gone on for 4. Ellen Ridgway's raced on to 37. And she's out.
she's out.
She gave it lots of flight.
I was wondering about the no ball there. Janice, were you?
Yeah, it was high. We might see a replay here.
She had gone down the track to it, so
She had, might have been, yeah, she'd gone down the track and she was she will go down in the book as a stumping. I think Gabby just helped the ball then back onto the wickets. I don't think anybody realised there was a wicket there, but she gave it lots of flight. Ellen came down the track and missed. Here comes the replay. She went down the wicket, played across the line and missed. And yes, a stumping. Well bowled. The next batter in is Ava Canning.
Sophie Mcmahon.
Sorry about that, that's false. It's Sophie Mcmahon. They've jigged their batting order.
Sophie, who was away with the Irish squad last week, did extremely well with the ball. Doesn't get to bat very high at Irish level, so it's a great opportunity for her here.
Obviously, the Leinster coach, Rob O'Connor, deciding that because they've reached the 10th over without losing a wicket, that he's going to jig around his batting order. And we've Sophie Mcmahon now joining Laura Delaney.
Super delivery. That bounced over the stumps. Super delivery.
Well bowled.
They'll get 1 run, 1 bye. And Laura will be facing again.
Well bowled. It fooled everyone, including Gabby Lewis. It's good that they broke that partnership, Miriam.
As well, because Ellen was doing very well.
Yeah, she was. 5 overs to go. Leinster are going to look to increase here. Oh, little bottom edge. She was looking to hit it through the covers on a bottom edge.
Lucky she didn't pull it onto her stumps there.
Yeah.
And that's the over up.
That's the end of the over, and Leinster have moved on to 71 for the loss of 1 wicket. Apologies, 72 for the loss of 1 wicket off 10 overs. And I hand you back to the legendary Isabel Joyce.
Thanks for that, Janice and Miriam. You're too kind, Janice. I'm joined by Peter.
Janice either. I'm not offended.
The
Janice.
Legendary Peter O'Reilly is beside me here.
Thank you, Isabel.
I think that just refers to your age rather than your ability at cricket, Peter.
I don't know how to take that at all. Well, earlier on, Isabel, we were talking about whether bat would dominate ball. It's been bat so far. And as you mentioned just off air, this is a kind of a pivotal moment in the innings.
Yeah, Sophie Mcmahon and Laura Delaney are the linchpins of this Leinster batting attack. Kerry Tomlinson's coming on to bowl here. She bowls some part-time leg spin, and she can be very effective, really, really slow through the air. So she can kind of beat you with the flight. But these two do like using their feet and hitting with power, so they won't mind this bowling change. Straight down the wicket for Laura Delaney. It's really strongly hit, and Banchika does excellent work in the long on boundary to cut that off and keep it to 2 runs. That's the kind of fielding they're going to need to do to keep this score under control, YMCA.
Yeah, Banchika's done a lot of work to improve her fielding, and you saw the fruits of her work there. You also noticed that Laura came down the track first ball. She's well in now.
Down the track again. This time she moves Banchika the other way, and I'm afraid she's not going to make it this time, as that dibbles over the boundary. A despairing dive from Banchika, but she's just moved the field around beautifully there to Delaney.
Yeah, Banchika got the dive out maybe a millisecond too early, but that's an indication of her commitment, though. Laura Delaney moves on to 37 not out, well into her stride now. It'll take something special to remove her.
That's forced a change in the field. It's actually an illegal field right now. Oh no, they've changed. They've brought Kate McAvoy across the other side and sent probably their best fielder, Jenny Gray, into mid-wicket. As I said, it's forced a change in the field, and like that cow position has gone a bit straighter. This time she lands it a little bit shorter. Sarah Forbes cutting it off at point. So this is the batter that Kerry will want to bowl to. Sophie Mcmahon is batting at number 3. She was carded to bat at 4, but obviously they had a plan in place where if they didn't lose a wicket in the first 7 or 8 overs, then Sophie was going to come in next.
Another much improved cricketer, Sophie Mcmahon.
She's very difficult to bowl to, Sophie, because she hits the ball in kind of odd areas. And she's gone straight away. She's just shuffled down, played and missed at that one between her bat and pad, and Gabby Lewis a bit of a cleaner take this time, and Kerry Tomlinson does the job coming on for YM, and that could be a huge moment in this game.
Yeah, just a little bit of inexperience there. Sophie would have noticed, or she should have noticed, that when Laura Delaney comes down the track to a leg spinner, she makes to stay slightly offside of the ball to allow for spin, whereas Sophie came down, probably stayed inside the ball, and Gabby was able to see it the whole way down, made her job easier as well.
Yeah, absolutely. She didn't really commit to coming down the wicket. Here we have the replay again. She didn't really commit. You just saw the shuffle. Front foot went just a little bit to the leg side, and as a part-time wicketkeeper, Gabby Lewis would have found that a much simpler dismissal than the previous one when Ellen Ridgway was dismissed. And so that brings Amy Connealy to the crease. A veteran, I would say, not quite as much of a veteran as you and I would be, Peter, but Amy's played a lot of cricket, not known so much for her batting as her bowling, but she does hit a really big ball, Amy. She's a clean striker. She'll be aiming to take advantage of the leg side a lot more.
Yeah, I have to admit, when I think of Amy's batting, I think of her coming in after a mini collapse in the Ireland sort of late middle order. Amy coming in and scoring runs at the end.
Yeah,
and
and
taking the ball cleanly, as you say, and she's off the mark immediately. A no ball. She's just placed it out to deep square to get off the mark.
Yeah, so that brings Laura Delaney on strike for the free hit, and she'll be delighted that she's the one facing it, as she's the set batter. She's on 38 and is batting terrifically, the Irish skipper, and indeed the Leinster skipper. So change in field, they've brought square leg in, long off goes back, and you still feel that Delaney will want to take on the straight boundary. Down the track again, she just manages to hit it into her foot, a flatter delivery from Kerry Tomlinson, and well bowled, as you say.
Flatter, but still well up to the bat. Had the courage to get it up there, even if she did put it through a little bit quicker.
Well down the ground again. Kate McAvoy cleans up down at long off, and it's a good throw in. Keeping it to 1 run for Laura Delaney. That's a good finish to the over from Kerry Tomlinson. As Leinster move on to 82 for 2 after 11, just 4 overs remaining.
I'm just going to make way for Fintan McAllister now. I'll talk to you in a little while there, Isabel.
Thanks, Peter.
We've had 11 overs of the Academy Plus Women's.
So I'm welcoming to the mic Fintan McAllister, recently appointed assistant coach of the Irish team, and also pretty happy to be back on his stomping ground where he won the Alan Murray Cup last weekend for Malahide CC as skipper. Welcome, Fintan.
Hi, Izzy.
How was your recent trip to Scotland? You were over there with the Irish team. Not Scotland, sorry, Holland.
In Holland, yeah. No, we'd a great trip over there now. So got a good look at the teams that we're going to be coming up against. So that was great. Good.
That's Vanshika Shukla has returned from the St John's Road End, and Laura Delaney gets a single from a rather short delivery. Yeah, it must have been invaluable for you and Ed to see the girls playing a few games against the kind of teams you'll be playing against soon in Scotland. That's their World Cup qualifiers coming up at the end of August and September. Those games will be streamed live, which is great for the Irish girls and really good for women's cricket. Do you think it makes much of a difference having the games streamed?
Yeah, well, I think it's a great addition to the tournament, and especially just to, I suppose, back up what you said there. It's great to get over and have a look at the teams we're going to be playing against. We hadn't too much of an idea about them before, so that was great.
So a few weeks of hard work, and then Ireland will be in Group B of the World Cup qualifiers, so they've got to finish top of that group, which contains also the Netherlands, Thailand and Namibia. Namibia, of course, they're in place of Zimbabwe, who are in a bit of strife with the ICC at the moment. So just as... And good line length from Vanshika there, and she fields well off her own bowling there.
Good bit of fielding there.
Yeah, so some of the girls that you would have had over in the Netherlands on show here today, Laura Delaney hitting it well.
Yeah, Laura's absolutely flying here, so she's she's 40 off 11 hours there, so hitting her well over the top as well.
Yeah, she does like to shuffle down. She's hit a catch, a very sharp chance, just missed there in mid-wicket by Maya Naughton. It's one of Amy Connealy has decided to take on. And it's going to be a wicket after all. What a mix-up. That's great fielding from Lucy O'Reilly in the deep there, as Amy Connealy is sent back by Laura Delaney, and she perishes at her own hands really there. There was never a 2, you'd have to say, Fintan.
Yeah, especially not to Lucy O'Reilly, she's a rocket arm on her, and she's quick. She moves quick across the ground, so great bit of work by her.
Yeah, you can't keep her out of the game, Lucy. She's such a good fielder. So that's Amy Connealy departing for 2. And I think these last few wickets are going to be costly for Leinster. We mentioned it off air that Laura Delaney and Sophie Mcmahon were the linchpins of this attack. And now that Sophie and then Amy Connealy have gone by the wayside, it's already down to Laura Delaney to make sure that they post a competitive total.
Yeah, I think so. I think Laura's gonna try and bat through the innings here, you know, and I suppose the job of the non-striker here will just to be trying to get Laura on strike again from the start to the over.
Exactly. So with these qualifiers, the prize for the top 2 ranked teams is qualifying to the World Cup. That's in Australia in September. Is that correct?
Yes. Well, over to Australia then in February. So it'll be it'll be all to play for coming up to the qualifiers, and
well worked into the leg side by Hannah Ridgway.
Well done. She did a nice little job there getting Laura back on strike.
Yeah, that's well worked. But she obviously knows her job there is to get down to the other end. So she'll be working with Laura Delaney, trying to ensure that Laura faces as many deliveries as possible. And there's a good few new people into the squad now. A few retirements last year has made way for a few youngsters coming through. It's good to see them getting their chance.
Yeah, no, it's great, you know. So obviously the forward retirements were them
strike down the ground there from Laura Delaney.
Brilliant.
I hope to see more of that from her, I'd say, in the future. That finished off a decent over from Van Schika. But Laura Delaney finishes on top. Leinster moved to 90 for 3 in the 12th over. Sorry, I interrupted you there.
No, all good now. So obviously yourself and your sister retiring and Ciara and Schiller's now, but you know, we've it's a young side, and you know, the best thing about a younger side is they're fearless, you know, so they'll be looking to take the game on as soon as we come into those qualifiers.
Yeah, you can kind of see that in the scorecards, I suppose, at the moment a little bit, where either they're really, really on top, the girls, or they've been beaten a couple of times where they probably would have expected to win. So a steep learning curve, but probably the best way to learn for the girls. Yeah,
exactly. Yeah, no, it's they're playing a great brand of cricket at the minute. It's really really attacking and you know, and really looking to take the game on. It's a nice delivery there by Kerry.
Yeah, she didn't really seem to have a plan there, Ridgway. This is Hannah Ridgway. Her sister opened the batting earlier on today, and Kerry's just beating the outside edge, falling a little bit flatter. And again, Ridgway not quite sure what to do. Moves back when she possibly should have come forward. And there's a little chat in the middle of the wicket from Laura Delaney. So she'd be the experienced campaigner, as you'd hope, being the skipper of the Irish team. Yeah, exactly. Probably telling her just to look for a quick single there, trying to get some bat on it into a gap here and to bring herself back on strike. And Gabby Lewis is counter punching. She's brought cover in and long on up. So she's saying, listen, you're not going to get an easy single. We're going to keep you on strike. So it's going to be interesting to see what Ridgway does now. Yeah, I really like this, actually. This is a great move by Gabby. And the catch does go to that cover fielder that she's just brought in. Gabby Lewis is giving herself an old pat on the back as Ridgway is dismissed. And unfortunately, Laura Delaney is losing a lot of partners very quickly as Ridgway goes for 1. That's a great bit of work there by Gabby. Actually, just saw that applying a bit of pressure there would work, and it did. And fair play to her for that move. Yeah, so we've got another young player coming out here. This is Ava Canning. She's a tall player, so long levers. And much like you were saying about the new brand of Irish cricket, which is fearless, you'd hope that Ava Canning will be fearless out here and will just take the game on. Yeah, exactly, yeah. Still plenty of time left in the innings, you know, so... Well, it is reduced to 15, so there's only 2.4 overs left. I'd said beforehand that 115 was par. I think that if Laura can face most of the deliveries, they might get close to that, but YM will be working hard to try and keep them down below that total. And YM have quite an explosive batting lineup up the top, so they'll back themselves to chase anything down, but the lower the better, you'd have to say. Oh yeah, exactly. You know, I mean, again, I think it's crucial here that Laura just face the most of these deliveries here, the way she's hitting it. And as you said, yeah, you know, I think anything under that 115 mark you talked about is going to be tricky to defend, especially with someone like Gabby Lewis up top, who we all know how strong she hits the ball. So yeah, she's a dangerous player, isn't she? But runs on the board in a final, you can't buy them. As you saw yourself last weekend, as soon as a couple of wickets go in the second innings, pressure is on, and anything can happen. So it's all very much to play for here. As Canning faces their first delivery, she just slashes it away to point. They take a quick single and they scamper through. So that's exactly what Laura Delaney will be wanting the young Canning to do.
Yeah, that was perfect there, you know. And as you said, a bit of scoreboard pressure. You never know what can happen in a final.
No, exactly. It's YMCA's second final of the day against this same opposition, so they'll be wanting to get one victory over Leinster. It's well hit down the ground again from Laura, but it'll probably be a single again as Kate McAvoy tidies up.
Yeah, 2 finals in the day, yeah. Great club, so it's
brilliant to see. And listen, thank you very much, Fintan, for coming on. We look forward to seeing you with the girls in Scotland in September. Best of luck with everything.
Thanks so much, Izzy.
So we welcome back Peter O'Reilly after that short stint from Fintan McAllister. And we're coming into the final stages of this innings for Leinster. And you'd have to say, Peter, it's an important stage in the game. Just 12 balls left and very little time for Leinster to get that score above 100. And you'd have to say a competitive total.
Yeah, I can't imagine they're not going to get to 3 figures. But compared to where Leinster were looking when that opening partnership was motoring, I think YM will be considerably happy. You can see it in their body language out there. And the effort of Kerry Tomlinson has been critical. Taking a bit of pace off the ball obviously helps. And you can also see that Laura Delaney sees the need to bat till the end. So she's taken limited risks, put that ball in the air.
Oh, they've run a 2 here. Laura Delaney in a bit of trouble, but Lucy O'Reilly doesn't manage to get it in for a second run out of the innings. Maya Naughton has returned for her second spell and her final over, and that's a much better start to her third over than she had to her first spell. So across the line for Delaney, which is unusual for her, but as you said, she's feeling the pressure to get a few runs in the final couple of overs.
Nice to see Gabby Lewis come up to the stumps as well.
And it's just clipped to the offside. Well bowled from Naughton. She's bowled one shorter one now, one fuller one, and it's well backed up by Robin Lewis.
Yes, good awareness there from Robin at long on.
That's the kind of thing that's just come into the game recently in women's cricket, is certainly in this country at the club level, is that kind of level of awareness from long on to come in and back up when there's no one in on the leg side. So brilliant to see from YMCA. Again, excellent bowling from Maya Naughton. Ball's just...
Yeah, I'm wondering if Maya Naughton... Sorry, there's the 50 for Laura Delaney.
One innings from the Leinster skipper, 50 runs from just 35 balls. So an absolutely crucial knock from her for her team.
Without ever taking any risks, really, or ever playing a full stroke that I can think of.
That's a shorter delivery, and Maya Naughton looks angry with herself. She's just wondering what's going on because she doesn't usually bowl these balls, but she's got to realise it's a final, these things happen, and just set herself again.
I wonder if sometimes some bowlers bowl better when the keeper stands up. There's more of a target almost to bowl to. And if Gabby has gone back for Ava Canning, might be a value in her coming up to put pressure on her also.
Good commitment from Naughton there in the field as she dives to stop the ball for her own bowling, but Leinster, it's pretty much hit and run at this stage. Single's a good result for YMCA off any delivery now.
You'll take a one, at this stage of the innings. 9 balls left, I think 8 or 9 balls left.
Yeah, 8 balls left, just 2 from Maya Naughton, and you'd imagine Lucy O'Reilly would be finishing out the innings from the Willfield Road end. Down the wicket again for Delaney. She then goes back. Diving effort in extra cover there from Jenny, and that's an appeal and out. Ava Canning, great fielding in the deep from Kerry Tomlinson. Pick up and throw was super quick, really good over the top, and the bowler gets back to the stumps to take the bails off, and Canning goes for 2.
Yeah, I suppose 2 things to note there. Laura Delaney struck the ball so well that 2 was always a bit of a squeeze, especially number 2 when the release was so quick from Kerry Tomlinson. She got the ball in the air quickly but also accurately. The bowler didn't have to depart from the stumps. So good out cricket there from YM. who've stuck at this very well.
Yeah, they didn't let it get away from them when Leinster started scoring freely. They stuck at their task, and once they started taking wickets, it was always a good chance that they'd keep the total to something very chaseable. So Maria Kerrison comes to the crease. She's at the non-striker's end as the run out was down the non-striker's end. Delaney, does she try and score a boundary now, or just take a single and steal the strike?
Single is the wise option here. For YM, a dot, a 2 or a 4 even would be fine.
She's calling for a 2, so I don't think she's heard you, Peter. She's coming back for a 2, so Maria Kerrison Maria Kerrison will face the next over. So a surprise for me there from Laura Delaney that she didn't just canter down and take the single as we come to the end of the 14th over. But that does bring Leinster's total up to 101 for 5.
It'll be interesting to see what field is now set by Kerry Tomlinson for Lucy's final over. It's about, I suppose you could argue, it's about trying to keep the new batsman on strike. Although I'm sure Lucy will be thinking about trying to get her out. But keeping, I suppose the key thing is keeping Laura off strike for as much as possible.
I'm surprised that Maria Kerrison didn't come in earlier. She's a smart cricketer. She's quick
right?
between the wickets. She'll know her job here. She'll just try and get down the other end. And she's someone who's played a lot of cricket, watched a lot of cricket, very competitive. So more of a bowler, obviously, coming in at this number. But yeah, she's a smart cricketer.
Well, she's certainly been given a vote of confidence from her skipper.
And it's Lucy O'Reilly.
So Lucy O'Reilly comes back, the experienced campaigner, for the final over of the innings.
We'd like to see mid-wicket saving the one nice and tight here.
Yeah.
Seems like they're all standing on the ring, it being the final over. But I'd be looking at trying to keep this batter on strike.
That's the only problem with having your quickest bowler bowl the last over. If there's anything on the ball, a full delivery to start and well taken by Gabby Lewis, if not too graceful. That's probably the right way to go for Lucy. Just try and bowl it full and get it through to the keeper. No bat on the ball, it means there's no singles. So already that's a ball wasted for Delaney.
Hold it. Good cricket.
Yeah, it's just dabbed into point. She knew what she was doing straight away. She's taking the risk that Point wouldn't be able to return the ball quickly enough to the bowler's end, and that she'd be able to get Laura Delaney on strike. So long off goes back. We've got a deep third man. Extra cover goes onto the ring. Covers on the boundary, and we have a square leg as well. So just fine leg up. That means that Lucy has to be tight with her lines.
Off stump Yorker, yeah.
And you've called it. She didn't try and keep her to ones and twos. She just said, I'm going to bowl her. That's Laura Delaney's middle stump out of the ground. A fine knock from her. She goes for 53, and Leinster are 102 for 6.
Yeah, you could tell by the field where Lucy was going to bowl. Your long off back and your third man deep. It's going to be full and round off stump.
Wonderful innings from Leinster captain Laura Delaney.
Laura Delaney had to throw the bat really. That's a beautiful innings. Typical of Laura to deliver on the big day as well.
Yeah, we said at the start that she likes a big game. She's a big game player. She would have taken the pressure and kind of it gives her energy nearly, Laura Delaney. She loves those kind of occasions, and it brings Jenny Sparrow to the crease. A really accomplished cricketer, Jenny Sparrow. You'll see her with the ball later on in the innings. She kind of is exactly what Leinster's all about. She trains really hard, very loud in the field. She's very exuberant, really supportive of her teammates, and just loves everything about playing cricket. So it's great to watch her out there.
A role model, I hear. Very
Absolutely,
popular, and you can tell by the reaction that she got from the Leinster girls when she came onto the pitch there.
Oh, and another Yorker, but that one's just missed leg stump. Gabby Lewis takes aim and misses. And head in hands, she's apologising to Lucy O'Reilly, but the bye goes against her, so she's the only one who's really paying for that missed run out.
A Rare mistake from Gabby Lewis, who's impressed, I think, as a part-time keeper now. A couple of stumpings.
Yeah, she's done very well. She'll be happy with her return. We'll no doubt hear about it later. Well balled again from Lucy. She's bringing the ball back in. A little glove from Maria Kerrison, and they scamper through for a single. And you just feel like they might be happy to take a single off each of these final two deliveries, Peter.
Yeah. I suppose 110 would be nice. But at this stage, they have a competitive total. Anything else from here with numbers 7 and 8 are in. Anything else is a bonus at this stage.
She gets away with one. That one straight down leg side, but it's hit the pad of Jenny Sparrow. And that brings about the close of the innings. So you'd have to say at this point that YMCA are slightly on top. We said 115 was par, but Leinster finish on 104 for 6. And we'll be back shortly to talk you through the second innings to see who'll end up on top. Will it be the strong batting of YMCA chasing down 104, or will Leinster take the wickets they need? Here's the replay of that wicket where skipper Laura Delaney was dismissed. Fantastic delivery from Lucy O'Reilly, and I think probably saved 10 to 15 runs there by dismissing her in the final over. There we have the Leinster batting card. Up the top, Ellen Ridgway batted well for 37, and she was partnered the whole time by Laura Delaney for 53. A couple of low scores followed, with Sophie Mcmahon out for 0, Amy Connealy for 2, Hannah Ridgway 1, Ava Canning 2, Maria Kerrison contributing 2, and Jenny Sparrow unable to get bat on ball. She is 0 from 2.
Yeah, at the time that Ellen Ridgway got out, you think that she had done her job. Leinster were flying at that stage, but that wicket really was the turning point, because we've had regular falls of wickets since then. The bowling analysis: Lucy 1 for 1 from 1 over with 1 maiden. That should be 2 wickets, should it? No.
1 for 3, I think, from 3 overs. Maya Nocton.
Oh, sorry, it's my eyesight.
Will be slightly disappointed with her.
Maybe you should take the bowling analysis.
Maya Nocton bowled 3 overs, 0 for 25. Vanshika Shukla did a good job, 0 for 29 from 3 after it was an expensive first over. It was a good comeback. Roisin Staunton bowled well, 1 for 22 from 3. Robin Lewis just the 1 over, 0 for 10 for her. Carrie Tomlinson changed the game with her 2 overs. She took 2 for 13. So Leinster restricted to 104 for 6. And Leinster have to chase, or YMCA have to chase 105 for victory. Yeah. So to make it 1 apiece on finals day here at the Academy Plus finals day. So join us in just a few minutes for the second innings, where we'll be joined again by Janice Walsh and Miriam Greeley, and as well by Alan Lewis. Hello and welcome back to Pembroke Cricket Club for the second innings of this Academy Plus Leinster Senior Cup final. We have a game in our hands here as Leinster posted a competitive total of 104, and I'm joined here by Peter O'Reilly.
Yes, Isabel, looking forward to this. It's an interesting game of cricket. You feel so much is resting on the shoulders of Gabby Lewis, who is in great nick at the moment. Has just kept wicket very well. Has just got a particularly impressive leaving cert result. Things are going well for her at the moment, but she's in a position where she's under a little bit of pressure to deliver. Not that she's the only batting threat that YM can offer. They've got reasonable depth in batting, but Leinster have the runs on the board. So it's up to them now to apply the pressure with the ball.
The way that Gabby's batting at the moment is, if you've been keeping an eye on the Irish scorecards, is that she generally either scores big or is below 10. So if Leinster want to have a good go at this, they'll be wanting to dismiss her before she causes too much damage. And she tends to cause damage quite quickly. So it'll be an interesting first few overs here. Amy Connealy opening the bowling from the Willfield road end. And a decent strike from Lewis to start. Sophie Mcmahon cuts it off at mid-off. I know a bit of a way shape there for Amy. She won't mind seeing that.
Yeah, Gabby will have played Amy plenty in the nets. She knows that she likes to bowl quite a full length to give it a chance to swing away. What sets Gabby apart really as a batter in Irish women's cricket is her ability to hit the ball down the ground, the power that she can bring. So she knows that Amy is going to bowl full. I'm sure she's looking to drive. It's Jenny Gray on strike now.
And a nick early on, that's a costly miss, you'd have to think. Alan Ridgway just putting that low chance down early. Jenny Gray just being dragged into that shot. A better length there from Amy Connealy. She's pulled it back a tiny bit, and Jenny Gray has just followed it.
Yeah, a tough enough chance, but one you'd expect Alan to take most of the time. Low and to her right.
And immediately followed by a wide. How often does that happen? Should be disappointed, Amy, that chance wasn't taken early, but still plenty of the game to come. Change in the field here as Laura Delaney rings the changes. Long on up, fine leg back, and they've moved their a fielder into square leg on the one, and their second fielder on the boundary is down at third man. So quite an attacking field for Jenny Gray. If she wants to take them on down the ground and hit it over the top, then she's welcome to do that. A fuller ball. It goes to that fielder at mid-on. A shy at the stumps from Vanessa Kalida, but she misses, and well backed up from Laura Delaney. So lots happening here early, Peter.
It is, yeah. It's a lively start. That was a risky enough run, given that it came out of the middle of Jenny Gray's bat. But she backed herself to make it, and now Gabby is on strike.
Brings about a change in the field. Long on and cover back for Gabby, so quite a different field. And probably a good choice. Floated. And top edge from Gabby Lewis, but she swings hard, and that ball will make its way just about to the boundary. A despairing chase from Ava Canning. Not called a no ball. It was rather high, but just about snuck under the waist of Gabby Lewis, who's about 5'10", you were saying earlier. So she just about got away with there, Amy Connealy.
You can see that Gabby was surprised by that ball, because we kind of expect a metronomic line and length from Amy Connealy. So she was taken a bit by surprise, didn't get hold of it, but had enough on it to get over this deep square boundary.
Oh, another floated delivery. This one will be called a no ball, and Gabby Lewis is ready for it this time. Vanessa Kalida goes around it long on, but she's unable to cut it off, and I think that was an attempt at slower ball from Amy Connealy. She bowls a really good slower ball, actually, and she'll be disappointed with how that one's come out. Just didn't really bowl it as we were talking about earlier.
No. Was it out of the side of the hand type?
Just rolling her fingers down the side. This is a free hit.
Complete your action with that ball.
Yeah. Free hit for Gabby Lewis. It's actually well bowled, really full so full indeed that Gabby can't get underneath it and get it where she wanted, which is over mid-off. So good comeback from Connealy after 2 poor deliveries.
Good cricket there all round, I thought, and that Gabby had the sense, despite middling it to deep mid-off, to accept that there wasn't a run in it.
And she often does take on that fielder, so you're right. Sophie Mcmahon would have been looking forward to having a shot at the stumps there, no doubt. And good finish to the over from Amy Connealy, but a single because long on is out, and Gabby Lewis keeps the strike for the second over. That's the end of the first, and YMCA are 13 for naught.
An ideal start for YM. Gabby Lewis already knows how it feels to middle the ball. She's rotated the strike a little bit. Both players have got to feel bad on ball. 13 runs from the first over, a very good start.
And we're going to have Sophie Mcmahon now from the St John's Road end. Jennifer Gray has survived an early scare when she got a thin edge, and a tough chance low to her right was dropped by Ellen Ridgway. So she'll want to make Leinster pay for that missed opportunity. Sophie McMahon bowling with a field of long on and cover out for Gabby Lewis. So the same as we had in the first over when Amy Connealy was bowling. Keep her up to the stumps. So Gabby won't be able to run down the track as she quite likes to do on occasion. In fact, I'm not sure that will keep her in the crease. Peter, she'll just take it on anyway. That's kind of the way she bats, isn't it?
Yeah, it is. Sophie McMahon, somebody who has toyed a bit with finger spin but settled on medium pace, relying on accuracy. And in terms of movement, what does she look to do with the ball?
She just kind of dibbles it in a little bit, and sometimes it hits the seam and moves away. So she has quite a tall action. She's not super tall, but she kind of just hits a length at no great pace, and you can tend to just chip the ball up a little bit and get yourself in trouble when you're facing her.
Yeah. This is a pitch now which should suit her.
Well, she's bowling from the right end. She'll try and hit that ridge. And already Gabby doesn't look as comfortable against her as Amy Connealy, so she bowls a bit shorter length. It can sometimes from the sideline look like she's bowling very short, Sophie, but once you're actually facing her, it kind of skids on a little bit quicker than you expect. So not the kind of bowling that Gabby really likes early on, but that's no doubt why Leinster have gone with Sophie up the top of the attack. Too short that time, but not hit very well by Gabby. Down to that long on fielder, Maria Carson.
I was impressed by Sophie. She started against the West Indies. Pretty daunting task for a young bowler, but she was remarkably controlled and calm in a difficult situation, wasn't she?
She's an extremely impressive cricketer, Sophie. She's had to fight really, really hard to get every opportunity that she's got. She is not someone who was handed her Irish cap in any kind of way. She kind of toiled away for a few years, and she's one of the players who's really earned her spot at the top of the table now.
Also, that's a decent delivery there, which beats the outside edge. She's also somebody who's obviously committed to her club as well. She coached the third team, which won the minor cup from the Academy Plus Leinster Women's Minor Cup final earlier on today. Sophie helped prepare that team, which is nice to see.
That's that length I was just speaking about. So Jenny drawn into a back foot shot that probably wasn't there because it looks like it's shorter than it is. Sophie is a fierce competitor. You're unlikely to find someone who's as competitive as she is on the pitch every time she crosses that line. Herself and Laura Delaney both kind of get white line fever, I think, which is actually a brilliant thing to see because you always know you're in a battle when you're against them.
Great attribute. Here she comes again. St John's Road end.
That's edged into the vacant third man area and races away to the boundary. That's unlucky from Sophie McMahon. They've just brought that fielder up, and they've paid for it immediately with the boundary as YMCA move after 2 overs to the score of 18.
Yeah, I suppose when you see a ball fly off the edge like that, you feel the bowler's been hard done by. But like you say, they brought that fielder up and then allowed Jenny to free her arms. So a bonus for YM. Going at 9 and over at the moment. This stage, Leinster will be thinking they need to pull things back a little bit. No better way to do that but by taking a wicket. But there's been a change here at the Willfield Road end. It's Vanessa Collada replacing Amy Connealy.
Yeah, I mentioned earlier that Vanessa Collada is she's a seam bowler. She's a tall girl as well, and she does like to hit the deck. She's someone who does use the seam, so a couple of times I've perished at her hands as she's nipped one back in. So she'll be looking to do that today. It's the kind of wicket where that might happen, but I think they've chosen the wrong end for her. I'd like to see her bowling from the other end, but I'm sure to be proven wrong now. And there we go, straight away, nipping one back in. She's got a funny timing in her action, so it can be a little bit touch and go sometimes. If it works together, it doesn't. But she's straight on the money there, Vanessa. Down the track from Lewis, and it falls safely into the cover area. But it was a wide one from Vanessa. She'll feel like she kind of got away with that one.
She will, but it's interesting what you're saying about the timing of her delivery and how she actually transfers the weight. It looked there almost as if she did Gabby with that sort of slightly different sort of bowling action. Gabby played the ball a bit early but got away with it.
And oh dear, almost a half chance, and they're giving another chance to Vanessa Collada, who's going to attempt the run out, well backed up from Amy. So lots happening there. Jenny Gray popping it up to extra cover, where Laura Delaney kind of lost her footing making an attempt to run forward and take the catch. And then they decided to go for a run, and Vanessa had a go at the stump. So 2 opportunities missed there from Leinster. As Amy Connealy moves out to long on for Gabby Lewis, and third man comes up.
Vanessa making things happen.
You'll notice as she runs in, when she does her gather before she bowls, both arms come forward, and that's why the timing is so difficult for her. That's well struck from Gabby Lewis, but in the air and towards extra cover. Laura Delaney returns to the bowler with venom.
See, Alan Lewis is in the vicinity. He'd like to see Gabby keeping the ball on the deck, I think.
Yeah, he's talking to Fenton, who we spoke to earlier, the Irish assistant coach, and he's probably telling him, here, get her to keep the ball on the ground. And that one in the same area along the ground this time. This is a tidy over from Collada.
Yeah, she's never quite there to hit. It's almost like you expect more pace because of her physique and the way she runs in, but the ball never actually gets there.
Ball sticking in the wicket possibly just a little bit and making it difficult for the YM batters to score. The final delivery here for Collada. But Fuller, Gabby Lewis has a wild swing that brings about the end of the third over, and YM 20 for naught.
Yeah, you'd have to say a poor shot by her standards, by Gabby Lewis's standards. Frustrated perhaps by the lack of pace on the ball. You'd have to wonder where exactly was she trying to hit that ball, and she was probably better off that she missed it completely.
I think she had decided she was just hitting it and then step hit, but it was too short. So, yeah, not her finest moment, Gabby, but a good comeback from Leinster here. Just a couple of tidy overs can make a huge difference in a rain-affected game. So only 15 overs being played down here in Pembroke, as Sophie Mcmahon bowls her second over from the St John's Road end. At good length, but they're going to... And miscommunication between the batters mean that it's nearly a run out, and Vanessa Collada hitting the stump, showing that they made the right choice not to run through.
Just beginning to look a little bit jumpy. They don't like being restrained, this YM pair. From Leinster's point of view, it's got to be all about dots now. It's got to be about the fielders in the ring, focusing on the footwork and the body shape of the batters to try and stop every possible single. Just build pressure that way.
Well, I suppose it's not an old adage because T20 cricket's relatively new, but a couple of dots really do bring a wicket when you're bowling against YMCA. Drop and run there from Jenny. Laura Delaney takes a shot at the stumps. Well backed up from Rebecca Rolfe.
What's that you're saying about YM? They've a bit of a reputation for folding under.
They definitely have a reputation for facing 2 dots and then having a big shot. So it either goes for 4 or you get your wicket. So possibly something they need to look at, but I'm pretty sure they know about it.
Well, that was good cricket there, as you say, the drop and run, rotate the strike. You don't feel as though run rate's going to be an issue.
That's unlucky for Sophie McMahon. That's the one that, as I mentioned earlier, tails back in. It's just missed the pad of Gabby Lewis and gone down leg side for a wide. But good work from Ellen Ridgway behind the stumps. Not an easy one when you're standing up like that.
No. Sophie's bowling at a reasonable clip now to stand up, and but it does add the pressure on the YM batters having to keep her up to the stumps.
Wider outside off, and Sophie possibly looking back at the umpire to see was that going to be adjudged a wide, but it's not.
Yeah.
And another dot for Leinster, so more pressure from Gabby. And I don't think it's that she thinks that she's not going to get the runs, it's that she likes to score a run or 4 runs every single ball, so she won't be happy with dots.
Yeah.
So she might move to the offside and manoeuvre it into the leg side this ball. Good sharp throw from Amy Connealy, and the umpire says not out. So Conor McElhinney at the Wilfield Road ends, not bang to the pressure of that appeal. Jenny Gray not sure.
Jenny saw the
thinks about
celebration,
moving.
saw the high fives from some of the Leinster players and took that to be bad news. But umpire never raised the dreaded digit. Although I would like to, if we had the facility, to have a look at the replay. It's often you find that a direct hit can have a way of persuading the umpire to give it out, but on that occasion,
Excellent fielding there at short fine leg from Amy Connealy. She has an exceptional ability to get rid of the ball straight after picking it up, one of her many strengths. That's a very wide delivery from Sophie McMahon.
got away with the previous one. Having the keeper standing up sometimes saves you on the offside, especially. But that time, that was an indisputable wide delivery.
Jenny Gray batting. I'm not even sure it's on leg stump. It looks nearly outside leg stump. So clearly wanting to play on the offside. Her front foot as well outside leg stump. Showing all of them to Sophie McMahon. Again going on the back foot when it's a bit too full. So not sure that guard is really helping Jenny Gray to pick what her the right shot for the deliveries she's facing.
If Sophie's slanting it in, you'd probably be thinking about scoring on the onside against her.
Laura Delaney is very deep in extra cover there, so she could just continue to drop the ball on the offside and run. Very short delivery there, not really well hit, but she scampers through for a single, and that finishes the fourth over. A good one from Sophie McMahon, and YMCA moved to 25 for naught.
Yeah, maybe 3 from that over, I think, and I suppose Leinster will be looking to apply just a little bit more pressure. As you say, maybe 3 dots in a row will do the trick, and you'll get a bit of risk taking from YM. But they've dragged it back a bit, Leinster.
After 4 overs, YMCA
Really good bowling
25
from
without a loss.
McMahon and Vanessa Collada, who returns for her second over from the Wilfield Road end. The last over of the power play here in this reduced game down at Pembroke. A fuller ball. It's hit to the leg side and it's missed by Amy Connealy, so they'll get at least a couple. I did mention how quickly Amy Connealy gets rid of the ball, and she does so again here.
Yes.
So makes up somewhat for her mistake, kind of sliding over the ball. And that was well struck by Jenny Gray. She didn't get the full face on it, but she's a strong girl and she hit it wide of mid-on well there. Better length, and that's Oh, that one was out. I think if she'd hit there,
Not
Connealy.
even in the frame. That was an unnecessary risk. You've got 2 runs off your first ball of the over. Pressure's off to a certain extent. Then a loose shot and an even looser run. YM won't be so lucky all the time.
Well, she's living dangerously, but it's paid off so far. Reverse little lap there from Gabby Lewis. A very stylish shot, and there's no chasing that one down. That one's going to race to the boundary. And Mary Kate McLaughlin down there at third man, unable to chase that. It was very deftly played from Gabby Lewis.
Great execution, wasn't it? That's something that Gabby's clearly been working on. She unfurled a few of those reverse laps and sweeps during the recent quadrangular.
Yeah, her hockey playing ability coming into good effect there.
You can see how high her hands are on the bat. But as a hockey player, she has the ability to move those hands around and manipulate the ball.
And she's moved this one to the leg side and another boundary. So back-to-back boundaries will ease the nerves there of the YMCA contingent in the sheds. You see her sister Robin Lewis with her head on her hands, looking a little bit nervous, but no doubt that will make her feel a bit more comfortable. So it looked a little bit dodgy for a second there for Gabby Lewis. She kind of caught that on the bottom of the bat as she swept it, but it's come off, and it's 8 from 2 balls. So big work to do here for Vanessa Collada to salvage this over.
A nightmare for a bowler. She's trying to protect the long, straight boundaries, and she's getting
hit very high over it, long off, and great effort from Sophie Mcmahon, but unfortunately it's just got a little bit big on her, and Gabby Lewis comes back for 2. So that was the chance that they were looking for. It's unfortunately gone down. It went very, very high there off the bowling of Vanessa Collada. So another life for Gabby Lewis.
Surprising mistake, and as you say, could be a turning point.
And in the air again, this time better placed into the cow area. It's kind of plugged out there, so Rebecca Rolfe will probably just keep it to 2 as she chases from mid-wicket.
That's 15 off the over, though, and a dropped chance. 15 or 16 off the over. So bonus for YM, without doubt.
So YMCA set at 40 for 0 from 5, and you'd have to say are in the ascendancy. And now I hand over to the Honourable Alan Lewis.
Thank you very much, Izzy. Lovely to be here.
YMCA power play, 40 without loss of 5 overs.
And of course, I'm joined by Miriam Greeley, the evergreen Miriam Greeley.
Lovely to be here, Lou.
This the Academy Plus Women's Senior Cup Final.
And wonderful that this particular final has been live streamed, exposing the virtues of the women's game, which is ever increasing in both quality and participation.
Change of bowling for Leinster and the Sydney Parade end. Number 2, Maria Kerrison.
Nice right arm seamer coming on now, Louis, from the far end.
Yes, it's Maria Kerrison.
Had their chances, haven't they, Lou?
Yes, Leinster certainly have, and they'll be ruining the 2 drop chances because Jenny Gray, first ball she faced was dropped behind the wicket, and there just Gabby Lewis injudiciously I would say, having already got 10 off the over, looking to go over the top, and Sophie Mcmahon, difficult chance, it has to be said, over her head, but probably should have been taken.
I think Sophie would be disappointed, she didn't take that, and giving Gabby a chance. Hope they don't rue it. Little bit short there, Alan.
Jenny Gray has gone, run out at the non-striker's end. Silly mix-up in communication there from the YM pair. And Jenny Gray has gone. She rode her luck really with a couple of run-outs already in this particular match.
I think was she dropped early on by the wicket-keeper caught behind. I'm not sure there was a run there, Louis. Do you think so?
No, definitely no
not.
run there. And this will now bring the Lewis sisters together.
What's a family outing here, isn't it? I'm feeling quite out.
6th over. Jenny Gray run out by Ellen Ridgway for 11. YMCA 41 for 1.
It was a good piece of work from Ellen Ridgway here because she reacted very quickly, and to throw the stumps down at the non-striker's end. Fantastic piece of work from Ellen Ridgway, it has to be said. She's having a good game, Ellen Ridgway.
She is, yeah, and the batting started slow but went on to make some fine runs. XYM girl, of course. Alan,
Of
is that right?
course, yes. The Ridgway dynasty in YMCA.
And I'm feeling very old now because I played with her mother. I feel very old, Heather Ridgway.
Gosh, you're making me laugh. And you
Well, you're
played
even
against
older.
my wife.
That's where your daughters got all their prowess from.
Of
wasn't it,
course.
Lou?
In both
So
exams
Sharon
and
tells
cricket.
me. I heard she did very well. Congratulations.
So that a bit of a body blow now for YMCA in terms of regrouping. They're in a good position though, 41 from 5.2 overs.
Quite
That's a
get hold
good
of it,
single.
yeah. Bowling a little bit short, would you think, Lou?
Yeah, a little bit short. She is a low trajectory, as you can see, but it's a good pitch down here in Pembroke, as they always have been.
True.
Under the tutelage of Dale McDonough, who's done a fantastic job in an effort to get this game on. Reduced, of course, for our viewers that are just joining us, to 15 overs aside. So YMCA requiring 105 for victory. Just moving steady along now. 42 for the loss of 1 wicket.
It's a much better length. No run.
That is a much better length, Miriam. Much fuller. Major effort is to try and bring batsmen forward. Batsman. Thank you very much, Miriam, for that correction.
You're welcome. Another good length. That's a lovely.
And that's out. Robin Lewis is gone. She's been excellently caught at mid-on there.
Sorry, Lou, I must be saying things. I thought she dropped it.
No, she caught it excellently, it has to be said.
Yeah. Diving to her right. Brings in Kerry now. Their 1,000-run scorer last year for Clontarf in one season. Seasoned pro, would we say?
Well, she's been a fantastic addition to the YMCA and certainly a large help in the growth of the women's game down in the club.
YMCA and Leinster both have very good junior sections, don't they, Lou? I'm always reading about all the juniors, how well they do, the boys and the girls.
Well, there's a fantastic academy which Kerry has run this year. And one would think that this is probably the vital partnership of YMCA to get over the line here tonight.
I would agree. Plenty of experience out here now for YMCA.
That a good shot from Gabby Lewis, forcing it out on the offside for 1.
What impresses me about Gabby Lewis's batting is that she just carries on from where she left off. There's no nerve. She plays quite freely. Wicket gone, she just drives through. That could have been on off stump or on middle stump. She still plays the same shot, whether they were wanting 5 runs to win or whether she's just going in to start her innings. Just plays with such freedom.
Yeah, it's an interesting thing because that's her natural instinct is to play attacking cricket, and I think that's a great base in which to go from. But you know, again, in that previous over where she got her chance, she was caught by, dropped by Sophie Mcmahon, I should say. But you know, having had 10 off the over, perhaps the sensible thing to do, because you can probably see Leinster probably realise it. You know, most of their fielders in the power play are at the edge of the circle. So another change of bowling now. Jenny Sparrow.
Another seamer. Louis. Two people deep mid-wicket, long on.
Field now.
Everybody else inside the circle. Deep square leg. Bowled down the back of the hand there, Lou.
Yeah, that's much. Again, that's what we spoke about there, Miriam. That's good cricket. Ball in a decent length. Again, fielders deep at the edge of the circle. So the field now spread, and it's clear that Leinster are going to be looking for YMCA to force boundaries.
Pulling in deep mid-wicket now. Perhaps they know where Kerry's strengths lie. Out for Gabby, in for Kerry.
Yeah, interestingly, for YMCA this year, she's been down the order a bit in an effort to again, with some of the younger girls in particular, to get them up the order and get them working on learning a role and how to play in these situations.
I suppose, as you say, she's coaching down there. I suppose that's what she'd like to see them doing. There's no point in coming to a cup final and never have batted all season.
Well, of course, and it's the difficulty with 2020 cricket, as we know, is that there's so much limited opportunity for so many players. That's the hard bit about it. That's a good call.
Bowling nicely, this girl, Louis. Pretty much on the spot. Little bit of a weight swing, perhaps.
Well, I think the feature really has to be for bowlers at this level. Again, when it's slow, pitch the ball up, get batsmen coming forward. That is the key.
Another very good delivery.
I
think you're right. You're right. On this sort of pitch, get them to come forward. Just put the ball on the spot, let the batsman do the work, especially if you have limited pace.
Well, this is a very good over so far from Jenny Sparrow. She's bowled very nicely.
She's frustrated her there as well. About 4 dot balls, and Kerry was trying to hit that one, I think, right over covers and just missed.
Well, again, this is part and parcel when anxiety kicks in. 3 dot balls, as you say, Miriam, in a row. And again, now long on, going back. Which is interesting in itself. You've got a batsman not off the mark yet.
Shows they're counting the balls. They just want to bowl to Kerry at the moment, keep Gabby off the strike for as long as they can.
Well, again, that's good cricket understanding from Gabby Lewis there. She was well down the wicket, looking to get Kerry Tomlinson off the mark.
The field's gone back out again.
That's good cricket. Very good cricket. Gabby Lewis recognising straight away it was to the left-hand side, and Laura Delaney had extra cover there and forcing 2. So a good finish to the over from YMCA, who now advanced to 48 for 2 at the end of the 7th. So it's going to be a very tight game, this, Miriam. There's no doubt about that. 8 overs to go now. And it's anyone's game.
This is. I think that Leinster will have to break this partnership up, in fairness. I think if at the end of this match Gabby Lewis is still there, I think it possibly is YMs. I think they have to really work on breaking up this partnership, and then they're in a really good shout. But they're doing very well, Leinster.
Well, you see, once the asking rate goes above 6s, it's now 7s. And as you say, I think if these two are at the crease close enough to the end, it will be good for YMCA. If not, Leinster will really come back into the game.
How would you approach it then, Alan? Would you be just looking to run a ball or looking for the boundary first ball?
Well, I think one of the things you need to do, and possibly early on in my career, there was an obsession with keeping up with the rate. And I think one of the things you do is, and again, probably in the context of Gabby Lewis here, who's on 29 and out, she's got to be there with 4 overs to go, whether it's 9s you need. Because, again, you know, you take what's happened here. We've had a wide, we've had now 2 wides, and it's still 6 deliveries to go. More and more pressure comes on the team. And I don't know whether you felt that when you were playing, Miriam, but I think there was more obsession with rate. And again, I think from watching one-day cricket right around the world, you know, the amount of teams that leave things late, how you look at who's going to bowl what overs at the end, things that probably... That's a very good shot from Gabby Lewis, straight down the ground.
That's a super shot. Well, that's brilliant fielding out on the boundary.
Excellent fielding.
That's a good teamwork down there by Leinster. Tag team coming back in, reduced it to 2, but an excellent shot. 4 off the over so far.
Well, in fact, you see, we've had the extra one, so it's 5, exactly. So it's 5 really off 1 delivery so far. So that's the thing within the patience game. That's a very clever shot.
It's a premeditated shot now, isn't it? Fabulous shot. Short delivery.
Oh, it's actually wides. There was nothing on it. I was sure Gabby Lewis got something on that, and even a clinch of the fist. I don't know that she'd be disappointed about that, but It's 5 wides, it's an extra ball, so that'll be disappointing for Kerrison, the bowler. I was sure Gabby Lewis got something on that.
I thought she thought so herself as well. Was she showing the bat to the umpire?
Oh dear, I've got it ticking off at home if she does that.
So that's leg side of the wide. I think the Kerrison has to straighten this up a little bit. Regroup, take a deep breath. Don't make it easy for Gabby.
I think it's one of the hardest things. Probably it's something that you never felt as a player, Miriam, because you probably didn't bowl so many. But the 1 day wide now is such a challenge, particularly at this level.
Yeah, the 1 day wide came a little bit later into my career, maybe the last, say, 10 years of it or so. But I'm still a bit old school at that, Louis. I still think that really is, if you practice hard enough, there shouldn't be too many wides in a. I was a spinner, so it's a little easier. No excuse when you're an off spinner to be bowling wides. Obviously, if you swing the ball, it's different, and I think the Kerrison is swinging the ball a bit. And again, a lot of these players are young, Louis.
Well, again, that's very intelligent cricket from Gabby Lewis there. A lot of runs so far off the over. Cleverly getting into position, and in a sense for YMCA, the team will be very anxious that she may be there at the end.
Good footwork there. Shot for no run, well fielded at mid-on.
And it's interesting now, Kerry Tomlinson looking to be much more assertive, advancing down the wicket.
Lovely little shot, trickle down, soft hands down to third man. They'll get 2 here. Kerry's back. Very good shot.
I think that's another feature in the difference between the men and the women's game. And looking at it even internationally, Miriam, it's so difficult to play shots square of the wicket because there's no pace on the ball. And it's actually a difficult grind. And in many cases, players have to try and play that little bit straighter like Gabby Lewis did in the last over through extra cover and things like that, because you just can't force.
That's a quicker delivery. She's done exactly the same thing. This is going to go for 2 or 3.
Well, you see it most probably will only go. I see Gabby Lewis is very anxious to get back. And again, that's very clever cricket from Gabby Lewis.
Super running, 3 runs. See, that was a little bit quicker. And if you don't have a third man, you've got a point there. It looks like a square point. But if you don't have a third man, you can't really bowl outside the off stump at that pace. Louis, she bowled a quicker ball that time. And it's pretty easy to open up the hands, soft hands, and play it down to third man.
At the end of the 8th over, YMCA 64 for 2. They require 41 more runs from the final 7 overs of this, the Academy Plus Women's
To run a ball,
final.
Alan.
Well, and again, you see that.
Change of bowling for Leinster from the Willfield Road end. It's number 95.
Exactly. You'd expect a few boundaries.
And the funny thing is, if you think about it logically, and again, this is the psychology of it, in the context of 36 legitimate deliveries, you only probably need 6 boundaries in total.
Yeah. There's one coming our way now, Lou. So it's a little bit of a loosener for McLaughlin, little leg spinner. She's only I think 14-year-old, so it's a great experience for her. They were right to change it, I think. They had to change it up a little bit.
Well, of course, and the other thing about it from a tactical point of view, often when you're looking at these equations, you're looking for the 5th and 6th bowler in terms of attacking them. So that's a very good start for Kerry Tomlinson. Very cleverly playing that away in the offside.
Watched the ball all the way there, didn't she? But premeditated.
Very slowly. It has to be said.
That went over her eye line, and then she danced down, danced back. Soft hands to point for 1.
Laura Delaney bringing that square fielder a little bit straighter, which is the correct thing.
Go. No. Oh. I'd like to see that. I'd like to see that replay.
She's out stumped by Ridgway.
She flights the ball. She did flight the ball beautifully, in fairness. It was a good delivery. That was a very, very close decision. We have the luxury of replay, obviously.
Gabby Lewis departs for 32, stumped by Ellen Ridgway off the bowling of Mary Kay McLaughlin. YMCA 69 for 3.
And that's the breakthrough Leinster needed.
So that brings Sarah Forbes to the crease. And a vital
The new man for YMCA is Sarah Forbes.
Well, the change of Laura Delaney worked very well, bringing the leggy on. And now I think it's vital that Kerry would stay there now for pretty much to the end. Louis, with her experience, and that was a great change of bowling from Laura.
Well, it certainly is now, Marion, with Gabby Lewis gone. So a big opportunity now for Sarah Forbes to the crease. Done well at youth level, Sarah Forbes. So a big opportunity now for her to stamp her authority on proceedings.
It's going down there very slowly, isn't it?
It's actually quite difficult.
Yeah.
To be perfectly frank, it's a really interesting thing is when we saw the ball actually turn prodigiously. When it pitched to Gabby Lewis, you've got to try and get that on the full. And that good work there from Sarah Forbes, off the mark. YMCA advancing to 71 now for 3.
I'd say that might be her job for the moment, is give Kerry as much as the
Well,
strike as she can.
It's quite interesting now because probably from Leinster's point of view, they need to be strangling. And
Well
again,
bowled.
that a difficult shot. You see no pace on the ball. Kerry Tomlinson will be better trying to hit that hard backward a square. No pace on the ball. It's very, very difficult. You're only ever going to get one for the risk that you're taking.
You've got to back yourself,
that's
really,
better.
don't you? You have to back yourself when she tosses it up like that.
Well, you see, you can do anything from there, Miriam. You can go back to a ball pitch to the semi. You could probably hit it on the full.
I wonder in the back of her mind now, does she know herself? She has to be there till the end. Extra pressure on Kerry.
Well, I'm sure she does. She's a very experienced player. She's played a lot of ODI cricket, T20 cricket in both New Zealand and obviously here, and would be very familiar with the surrounds. So it's still very interesting. 6 overs to go.
After 9 overs, YMCA 72 for 3, chasing 105 in 15 overs.
So
At the same point, Leinster were 62 without loss.
Just 10 in the difference, all right? They're bringing back.
Change of bowling for Leinster at the Sydney Parade end. Coming into the attack,
Sophie.
number 22, Ava Canning.
Ooh, they've changed the bowling again. Very brave. Haven't gone back to their openers at all. Ava Canning, a good little seamer as well.
again, interestingly, Kerry Tomlinson eyeing up that third man area. There's a vacant area which is dangerous from Leinster's point of view, but again, that ball needs to be hit.
I'm wondering, is Laura tactically leaving that open for some reason?
Well, we'll know shortly.
It's running away to the boundary, probably just the one. Amy Connealy coming in. Very good fielder, good arm, good cricket.
Yes, Amy Connealy, an experienced international campaigner, has been out of the side now for a while, but has done well with the ball for Ireland when she's played. So again, teacher to pupil out there, it seems. A lot of discussion between Tomlinson and Forbes. So, as you say, again, interesting from Laura Delaney. Maybe trying to squeeze an over out of Canning, bring her more experienced bowlers back into the game late on when they may be required. That's the gambling act. And now the strangulation. You can see it on the offside there. 4 in. That's good cricket. Very good cricket from Sarah Forbes. And now
She coming back for two.
she is. She's coming back. And that's very good from Sarah Forbes. Excellent cricket. Realising that the deep fielder hadn't got to the ball quickly and ran the first one quickly, which should tell anyone. Excellent cricket there from Sarah Forbes.
Also notice that when the keeper comes to receive that, she went right in front of the stumps. You know, and she had to go get the ball and come back. I'd like to see the angle. She should stay behind the stumps.
Well, I think the only thing is, in terms of tidiness, sometimes, sometimes it's better for your keeper to catch and take, tidy things up, particularly when the ball's not coming in quickly from the boundary. That's a nice flick on the leg side from Sarah Forbes. Should be an easy two there, and there is. Kerry Tomlinson easing that and easing her way in for a very comfortable two. Good work here from Sarah Forbes.
Very good shot, keeping it ticking over nicely, isn't she?
Absolutely.
In her own right.
And
there is two to the boundaries, actually. If you don't hit it hard, there's two every time to the boundaries. A big field out here.
Well, there is a big field. Like in many cases, there's no question of these boundaries being brought in. Very large boundaries here for this game. So, third man down there again. Fully vacant leg side.
You can hit the pad there.
Huge appeal.
Yeah, just the pad going through.
Again, it's always one of those anxious moments in any batsman's life when you hear that massive appeal and you've got that little look of anxiety when you look at the umpire. So Sarah Forbes doing a good job, and it is delightful, I have to say, to be joined by the former president of Pembroke Cricket Club, but that clearly off the pad, as we can see, and a very good decision from the umpire there. So 77 for 3, Janice, at the end of the 10th, 5 overs to go. Where is your money?
It's nip and tuck, Louis. I've been watching. I'm sort of, and the longer it goes on, the further towards the edge of my seat I'm getting, because it's nip and tuck. It's only 5.4 and over, but the bowling has been tight and backed up by very good fielding.
Well, it's going to be interesting. Here's a go. And again, it's difficult. The ball is being tossed very, very high. I don't actually know whether Kerry Tomlinson has been affected by the sun here. It's a very clever tactic by the Leinster leg spinner, tossing it up high.
Yes.
That's a good shot from Kerry Tomlinson, waiting on that, which was very clever, and a good piece of fielding from Canning on the boundary, getting it in and tidied up by Ridgway.
My gut is telling me here that if Leinster can get Tomlinson out, it might be a different ball game.
Well, it was very interesting. We were just saying that between Gabby Lewis and Tomlinson, if they both stayed, they were going to win the game. It'll probably need one of them to potentially stay to win the game, but it's going to be an exciting finish here, Janice.
It is.
See, the most difficult thing is it's very difficult, as we've said earlier, to get any sort of pace on the ball. And there's so much indecision because the ball is being tossed so high. Realistically, you should be trying to get to it if you can on the full, but it's going so slowly down there. It's tricky.
Oh.
Extraordinarily, the bowler didn't go for the catch off her own bowling.
No. Yeah, that was, I don't know what that was, a poor shot. The ball was sort of flighted up, and I don't know, it swung across the line. It went straight up in the air, and the bowler didn't go for it. She's certainly asking questions, Mary Kate McLaughlin. She's only 18. She's asking questions of the batter. She's bowling very well.
Well, there's no doubt, because you really don't know where you are. The ball is being tossed up so high. That's good cricket from Kerry Tomlinson. As I said, I was talking to Miriam earlier on the broadcast. You know, that ball could have been advanced to on the full. You can sit back and wait because it's bowled so slowly. And of course, Tomlinson is on strike.
And she's a very canny player, and she played Clontarf last year, moved to you guys, YM in the winter, is a very, very good player. Over 1,000 runs for Clontarf last year.
I certainly heard that. That was ringing in my ear. She's been actually very good in terms of certainly in her task in YMCA, where she's the head coach of the academy for both the boys and the girls, where she's done a terrific job. Is that she's given others opportunity, the likes of Sarah Forbes in this situation, so there's an understanding of maybe the requirements. So the requirement here is very straightforward. YMCA need 25 from the remaining 4 overs, and it's all in the balance here, Janice. It really is.
It is, and I'm very impressed. Ava Canning is continuing from the St. John's Road end. Ava Canning is 15. She's very young to put the responsibility, but she's bowling very well. Why not?
No fear, Janice. No fear is the thing for 15-year-olds. What fear had you as a 15-year-old, really?
I can't remember being 15.
Crossing the road was the only fear you had, I'd say. But the only thing here is, and it is a mark of where the women's game has come. There's so many young players on view here tonight, and that is the encouraging thing. And that again is a good shot. And this is the vacant area I was talking to Miriam about as well. There should be 3 here. It will be interesting to see. Sarah Forbes is going back, and that's very clever. Very clever from Sarah Forbes there, because she recognised the throw wasn't going to come in. It came in
Great
tag
cricket.
team, and very good cricket from Kerry Tomlinson and Sarah Forbes, as we said, pushing those 3 runs.
Kerry Tomlinson has got at least 15 runs down to that area, playing that exact same shot, and they've got a man there now for Sarah Forbes, but not for Kerry.
That's very good cricket, Sarah Forbes. Excellent cricket from Sarah Forbes. Easy too. And that's very good cricket from YMCA now. Nice and calm. You can... Because again, I was mentioning to Miriam, if you think it and break it down, with 25 to win, if you hit 3 boundaries, 4 boundaries, that's the way you've got to be thinking as a batsman. And they'll come. They will come.
But the bowlers as well are bowling on the spot. They're making the batsman work for every single shot. The ball isn't coming on very quickly, so the bats have to hit the ball a lot harder. Dot ball.
And the reason that was a much fuller from Canning there, which is the key, not allowing either of the YMCA batsmen to get back, as Kerry Tomlinson adjusts herself at the non-striker's end, gloves prepared, ready to go.
YMCA have won this 10 times, this cup.
I'm delighted to hear that, Janice, I have to say.
Leinster have won it 3.
Oh, right. That's a very good shot from Sarah Forbes. Excellent shot. And that's the point I was making to you, Janice. It makes what might be not an average over, a very good over, but a very, very good over.
Yep. Relieves the pressure. 4. She turned, played it backward square all the way to the boundary. Relieves the pressure on the batting side. She looks good. It's her birthday today.
Ah, isn't that lovely?
Yeah, she's 16.
Did you bring the cake?
I didn't.
Ah, I always thought that was the type of thing that happened down in the brook.
No, we'll give her the bumps later.
Ah, good. Okay. And again, very clever cricket from... She is playing a fantastic role here, Sarah Forbes. If YMCA are to get over the line here, Sarah Forbes' role has been superb here.
I totally agree. She's playing a supporting role to Kerry Tomlinson, but she's actually taking on the bowlers as well. She's got some lovely shots, certainly back of the square of the wicket, playing very well.
So Canning comes in again. And that looks to be a little bit wide. It indeed is. Signalled by the umpire there. A wide ball. All of these runs precious, of course, to YMCA as they get closer and closer to this total set by Leinster.
Ava Canning, who's bowling now from the far end, she plays for the Irish under-15 team, Louis.
Very good. Excellent.
She's tall, which is nice to see in a bowler. Whack.
That was actually not a bad delivery from Canning there. And
I think Kerry Tomlinson has her eye in, and she's going to. That was certainly pulled from outside off.
Well, the interesting thing there, Janice, is of course there's no single fielders on the leg side. Now, I think Leinster are going to probably have to play a wee bit of gamble here, because we've got 3 overs remaining. There's 12 runs required at a canter. YMCA should do this, and it's interesting now. Sophie Mcmahon coming back into the attack. Of course, recently capped by the Irish team and now become a bit of a regular. Of course, had a season in Australia herself last winter, where I'm sure she learnt a lot of cricket. So again, a decent mid-wicket conversation between Tomlinson and Forbes. And
she had a good week last week when the Irish team were away on their learning curve quadrangular. She did well. Her first spell here was a little bit loose, maybe, but hopefully this is her last over. The bowlers are restricted to 3 overs.
Well, learning curve it was, because what we've learnt is Thailand are not too bad at cricket.
No, they're not. But our batting order was being jigged about, so I can understand what Ed was.
I completely understand both Ed and Finton, who's here. Ed, certainly looking at perhaps what might be the best composition of their 11, and there's some very talented cricketers. Nice to see Orla Prendergast featuring and performing very good cricket.
Yes,
Orla
and
Prendergast.
your daughter Gabby getting some runs, slipping into some form, which is excellent. It bodes well.
I think Tomlinson will actually prefer this, that little bit of extra pace on the ball. But as we said, 12 required from YMCA, 7 wickets in hand. It's something they should do. But as we know, I haven't started the car.
You're watching the Academy Plus Senior Women's Cup Final here in Pembroke Cricket Club. This is the... Oh, big shout.
Yes, it did look very adjacent, that it has to be said.
Umpire Conor McElhinney raises the finger, very well bowled.
And she wasn't that far forward, so perhaps part of the gamble has worked, because Tomlinson is gone. And that's 4 wickets down now, and it is going to bring Lucy O'Reilly, who's been in international exile temporarily, we hope. And after her performance with the ball tonight, a little bit of cajoling, a little bit of caressing, whatever you've got to do.
I think the pendulum is swinging. I think Lucy, we'll see if she's been to nets. I know she's been on a break.
I'm a great believer, Janice. Whilst it is an aspirational goal, Lucy could bowl with her eyes closed.
She bowled extremely well. She bowled 1 for 3 off 3. Super bowling. She certainly hasn't lost it. I think if she was available, she'd walk back onto the Irish team.
Well, there would be no doubt about that. But again, it's one of these other kind of learning curves that we have, that there's so much, and commitment is the wrong word, because it's a joy to play cricket, but at the same time from such a young age. And again, they have to do things that girls of that age do.
It's player management. It comes down.
Of course
it's
it is.
Player management, and it's also the player themselves is aware. She's played a million caps for Ireland, and she takes a break. But the good thing for me is that the Irish women's management respected that, and they gave her the opportunity to do it, and the door is open.
Well, now interesting. Look at the strangulation now. Laura Delaney tight at extra cover, 5 in the offside, only 1 field canning out a deep square leg as Lucy O'Reilly faces her first delivery from Sophie Mcmahon. This is going to be a very interesting contest and could go to the wire.
I agree. I'm getting tenser and tenser sitting here.
And that is Lucy O'Reilly's arc. There's no doubt about that. So a good over so far from Sophie Mcmahon. 3 dots and the wicket of Tomlinson. So anything could happen here. That's a very good shot from Lucy O'Reilly. Excellent shot. It's her... Oh, that's a fantastic piece of fielding down there.
This is great, top-notch cricket. Good ball, super shot from Lucy O'Reilly, and a superb bit of fielding from the Leinster players. it's great to see athletic young women throwing themselves about the
Well,
field,
it's very
getting the ball
difficult
in.
for us to see it's one reason for the numbers, and I can't really see who that is down there, but it was a wonderful piece of fielding and a great shot from Lucy O'Reilly. So YMCA 10 from victory, 14 balls remaining as I have it. And so Lucy O'Reilly is showing the patience that may be required, but this is going to... Could we have a super over?
The plan is that if the scores are level, it goes to fewer wickets lost.
Oof.
YMCA lost 6.
No, Leinster
Leinster
lost
6 wickets. If it's level, then on 6 wickets lost, then it's a super over.
That's a good run.
I don't think I could cope with a super over. I don't think so.
I would love a super over. This is what this game is about. What's this last lost wicket? That's yesterday's cricket. I want a super over.
The rate things are going, cricket matches are just going to be 1 over each.
I'm going to start the car shortly.
He's getting overly excited.
Very. I always do when you're around.
I'll get
Janice.
Isabel Joyce back here now. She'll
Well,
take care of you.
She always has, in fairness, Isabel.
After 13 overs, YMCA are 96 for 4. They require 9 runs from 2 overs remaining. That also concludes Sophie Mcmahon's spell. She takes 1 for 11 off her 3 overs.
Very
Good spell from Sophie Mcmahon, 1 for 11, and that has the crowd all lined along the famous wall here in Pembroke. One of the hottest spots in cricket in the country. So the experienced bowlers are coming back. So YMCA's equation, 9 from 12 deliveries. As we look around the field here, Janice, fine leg now coming back. So we have deep square, we have fine leg, mid-wicket, mid-on, and a strangle field in the offside. Third man down.
Oh, it's a little short. There's always a single there. Vanessa Collada is a very experienced player. She's 25 years of age and plays for the Typhoons, so she has vast experience behind her. She should be able to bowl at this stage of the match at the death. She'll be able to maybe pitch it up.
Again, both YMCA players looking to manoeuvre the ball down to third man. That's good bowling.
This is getting very exciting. Nobody's left the wall, Louis. Although the sun is on the wall, it's quite chilly here.
So the equation is 8 from 10 deliveries. Anything could happen here. Knocked into the ground from Sarah Forbes. It's 8 from 9. No need for panic yet. But the difference, as you say, Janice, is this is Leinster's experience here, coming back to bowl at the death. Will it prove invaluable? That is the question. Oh, that's a very good shot from Sarah Forbes. That's a fantastic shot.
Again, the pressure is relieved by Sarah Forbes by hitting the ball over the top. And Leinster are encouraging the bats to do that by bringing the field in. They only have one sweeper out. An excellent shot.
I did see a black dog there nearly retrieving the ball. There could have been consternation there with that.
I think it's the Connealy's dog, because that was Amy Connealy. So
well, anything that Leinster can field the ball with, they will at the moment. Vital 2 runs for YMCA. 99 now they are. Oh, and that's been whacked away by Sarah Forbes. Fantastic shot.
Sarah Forbes batting out of her skin on her birthday. Could this be a match-winning innings? I think so.
Well, it potentially could be a match-winning innings, a birthday innings. It has everything, and I've put the key in the ignition.
My God, I thought it was a tuk-tuk.
Tuk-tuk. We did those in Sri Lanka, Janice, for goodness sake.
Again, Leinster bringing in their field, always thinking Laura Delaney, excellent captain of Ireland, always thinking, trying to figure out where the bats are going to hit the ball. In fairness, they're going to hit it over the top. There's not a lot you can do about it, really.
3 to win. 3 to win for YMCA to take the cup. And that's very clever cricket from Lucy O'Reilly.
That's very good.
Experience. Likes to play square of the wicket, Lucy O'Reilly, and that's a very good over for YMCA. So 2 now required for YMCA.
2 off 6 balls. My
2
money's now
off
on
6
YMCA. That's very good. Lucy O'Reilly kept her head. And Sarah Forbes is batting out of her skin. She's now on 18.
Well, when you think the period that she came in, she's actually taken over the senior role in this chase.
That's right. It shows that this the YMCA team, and in fairness, the Leinster teams are extremely well coached. The standard of cricket that we've seen this evening has been absolutely top-notch. Batting, bowling, fielding, and the way they run between the wickets, the way they do develop partnerships, and even the bowling has worked in tandem in partnerships. It's been really excellent.
Well, it's more the cricket noose, as you say. The cricket noose of that, and that Lucy O'Reilly's was a prime example there. 1 off that last ball, just working it away on the leg side within that strangulation that Leinster were trying to do. So again, the vastly experienced Amy Connealy coming back. Will we have excitement bar excellence? We shouldn't. We know we shouldn't. 2 to win, 6 deliveries. I've seen all things in cricket in my career. YMCA at one stage needed only 1 to win from 6 deliveries and then didn't achieve it. So anything can happen, as you well know, Janice.
Amy Connealy is one of the older players on the pitch today. That's a wide.
Oh,
her first spell was a little bit loose. That ball as well is too loose. She's struggling with her line, but she's an excellent bowler and should be used to swinging or to bowling at the death here.
It's funny that you say
the scores
that.
are tied.
They're tied, but it would be disappointing if the match is finished with a wide. Again, you want to see bat on ball, but YMCA now on the cusp of victory. That's good fielding. Now, the interesting thing here, Janice, if you think about it, we have a number of fielders deep on the edge of the circle when realistically all Lucy O'Reilly has to do is block it and go, and YMCA win. Will she understand that? That is the question. Father looking anxiously on.
She's gone for the big swing and a miss.
It's
Tell you, it nerves, Louis.
Well, you need nerves of steel in T20 cricket, as you well know.
Amy Connealy is a canny bowler. She knows what she's doing.
Well, it's interesting and it's difficult because obviously Sarah Forbes has been in the ascendancy here. I see Miriam Greeley talking, touching. We only need to touch it and go. Half her heart is in YMCA. I know it.
Miriam never touched anything and went. She
I'm
whacked the ball over the boundary
of her heart is in
constantly.
YMCA. There are 3 balls remaining, Janice, and 1 run for victory. Although what you've told me is fewer wickets.
Yes.
So unless Amy Connealy can knock over 2 wickets here, and you're telling me we get
YM have won.
Correct.
If they don't get another run and don't lose another wicket
I would imagine
or 2,
our television
YM have
viewers are most disappointed with that outcome. Well, all I want is a super over.
It would have been a bowl out.
What? So, a run will take them.
Oh, there it is. There's the winning run. On a misfield.
And there it is. That is the
misfield.
winning run. I don't know what's happened here.
I think she might have hurt her fingers. I think the ball sort of went under her fingers. But that's the winning run for YMCA. They have won the Academy Plus Leinster Women's Senior Cup for the 11th time.
I don't know whether she's actually got that ball in the face.
No, I think...
I certainly hope not, because it would be a very disappointing end if she did. A fantastic win for YMCA, and the excitement here, they're all so happy, and rightly so. And as you say, it does appear...
No, she's okay. She's shaking hands with people.
She did get it in the face. Yeah, she got it in the face. There may be a bit of a bleed in the lip, and it bubbled, as you say, off one of the ends there. So a fantastic victory for YMCA. in the circumstance, and delighted that we could bring this game live streamed. Just shows the energy, the enthusiasm, the crowd we've had here tonight. And
we're just showing the replay of that. You just saw the replay where the ball sort of just bubbled up and I think hit her in the chin.
And again,
Leinster by 6 wickets. Lucy O'Reilly hitting the winning runs in the final over.
I think you'll agree, Louis, we've had a super game. Here's the batting. Gabby Lewis top scored with 32 of 25 balls. Jenny Gray 11. Kerry Tomlinson 18. Sarah Forbes a super knock on her birthday 18 of 15 balls, and Lucy O'Reilly not out 5.
well, I think the thing when you look at that batting lineup, obviously the establishment of the partnership early on was massively significant. But I think the role of Sarah Forbes towards the end, under pressure, to get YMCA over the line, and the bowling analysis there, well spread across all the bowlers, really.
Yeah, I think Leinster had to rotate their bowling to sort of try and break partnerships. They did it very well. They all bowled extremely well. Sophie Mcmahon 1 for 11. Maria Kerrison 1 for 18. Mary Kate McLaughlin very good 1 for
11 it appears.
11. Yeah, very good bowling. But YM have come out on top at what was a super game.
And all I can say to all our viewers is thank you for watching. We've enjoyed bringing this broadcast to you. Thank you to Izzy Joyce, Peter O'Reilly, Janice Walsh and Miriam Greeley. It's been a wonderful day down in Pembroke. Wonderful that we've got a game of cricket. Wonderful to the ground staff and everyone absolutely thrilled. So it's goodbye from us.